Alright, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Galtopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report, brought to you by SnortBucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company. Let's go. How's it going, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. As I'm playing catch up here, it's a thing, right? So let's just go ahead and get with it. Ladies and gentlemen, there are going to be two videos that are going to make up our broadcast, both brought to us by Burnell. DSP, first video. Excuse me. Let's see here. I can't talk about Chapter 7 bankruptcy for now. All fundraisers have been for what I said. This is from May 7th of 2020. The second and last video to round out our broadcast is, let's see, it's also brought to us by Burnell, because I just said that, DSP. Proclaiming himself victorious for getting Chapter 7. Everyone lied, and only I told the truth. This is from May 8th of 2020, our current year of gout. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll save the majority of my hot takes for the broadcast at hand. There might be something a bit more in-depth at a later time and date. I will say this, as I've said before on that other channel that we don't talk about, and a little bit here. There is no victory in filing for bankruptcy. If you actually read people's stories on bankruptcy and for those who were brave enough to actually tell you why they went into bankruptcy, a lot of people tell you that it's the lowest point of their life. It's for some of them, it was the first time that they tasted failure on such a scale that it damn near cost them everything. There's nothing to be proud of. There is no victory parades. There is no war heroes welcome for filing for bankruptcy and getting it. You know what I mean? But for someone like Phil, who is failure incarnate, he'll take what he can get. And sadly, ladies and gentlemen, sadly, that's the problem. When you have someone like Phil, Wings 2 to an extent, who all they know is failure. Right? All they know is failure. Whenever they get a little piece, a little morsel, a little crumb, a little speck of something, they take that and they run with it. And it only makes it look and come across so much more ridiculous. But that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and get into the broadcast. Should be funny, as I would expect. And let's hear Phil's justification on the scenario at hand as we're moving forward to try to catch up, because I got a lot to get to go over and bring to you guys. But you know, it's a thing. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snort Report, and this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Network of Productions. You guys all know the slogan. I don't smell no bacon cooking, but we're about to get on that right now, actually. And hopefully you guys have a good day with it and whatnot, as we're reopening SnortBucks coffee, at least here anyway. If on Twitter, if you guys are following the official SnortBucks Twitter account, things are working out well as the museum, the Galtopia Museum of Unnatural Art. They also have a SnortBucks inside of their museum as well. You should definitely check it out. Supposedly they have some exclusives going on over there that we don't have at a regular kiosks and other stores. So something to think about. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you guys all know the slogan. It's time to watch me work. Feeling really chatty today.
Time to play the game!
You may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Alright, sounds good to me.
One can only hope. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with the first video to start off our broadcast, brought to us by Burnell, DSP. Excuse me. I can't talk about Chapter 7 Bankruptcy for now. All fundraisers have been for what I said. This is from May 7th of 2020, our current year of gout. Just put that there with the notes. Let's get it.
Major bad news is, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, a week ago, my ear infection, which I hadn't even been telling you guys about, I'd been basically ignoring it and hoping it was going to go away, got really bad. I got stabbing pain in my right ear to the point where I could not even stream last Wednesday. Luckily, I got emergency medication delivered that day, and ever since then, for a full week, I was administering medication to my right ear, and over the course of the week, it got better and better to the point where by the weekend, the pain had gone, and now as of today, it pretty much almost feels 100%. I would say maybe there's a little bit of tightness or a tiny bit of leftover residual pain on the core of my eardrum, but for the most part, it's gone, and my medicine regimen is done with my right ear, which is great news, right? It really didn't affect the streams outside of the one day that I missed. It didn't really affect the streams outside of that again. The bad news here is, yesterday's my day off, right? And I wake up in the morning, and my left ear hurts. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. It's the same exact soreness, aching pain that I had when the right ear had started to hurt, and I had ignored it to the point where it got really bad with that stabbing pain. So I'm like, this is ludicrous nonsense. I did
Yet again, poor hygiene, listening to way much detractor content. I don't know. Maybe what Nick Rekieta is saying to him is starting to really burn his bacon. Who could say? I'm banking on the poor hygiene, though, to be perfectly honest with you. We have someone who, especially as of recent, ladies and gentlemen, has admitted to going a day, maybe 2 days straight, possibly even 3 at times, of not taking a bath at all. Like, bathing on a regular basis is not, I guess it's too much effort. I don't know. I don't understand it. This is something that should be naturally ingrained into all of us. The guy well, he is a pig. I was gonna say we're not all raised in barns or anything, but I mean, semantics. But it's a thing, I guess. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember the last time I've heard of someone having an ear infection in one ear and going to the other. Not to say that it couldn't happen. I'm just saying I can't remember the last time the last time that I've heard of that happening. But like I said, there's a bunch of amazing stuff. Matter of fact, to give you guys an example, if I can find a video, I will link it down in the description, or I will ask someone to link it down in the description, I should say. After watching this video, I randomly YouTube, in all of its greatness, thank you, Susan, has started recommending these ear extraction videos, right? Where they have a professional ear doctor go in and clean these ears out of these massive wax balls and all kinds of ridiculous stuff. All right, so here's the one that really freaked me out. So this kid couldn't have been no more than 10 years old, I guess. His mom takes him to the doctor and takes him to this ear specialist, and she says that he says that he can't hear out of his left ear. And the doctor's like, oh, okay. How long has he had this? And she's like, oh, I don't know, about a month and a half, maybe. And he was like, okay, well, why did you bring him to to an ear, nose, and throat doctor before this or whatever? And she was like, no, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I thought maybe he just wasn't paying attention or whatever the case may be. But he says he completely can't hear anything now. And the doctor's like, okay, well, let's see what the kid has. So he goes in, and immediately he goes on this little, it's like the thing they use in surgery. It looks like a little plastic, almost like a little plastic snake, if you will, like a tube that bends, and it has a camera in it. And they go in, and they don't have to go in far, and they see that he said, well, I see some darkness in there, and I see what looks like a wing. And she was like, oh, like a fly? He's like, oh, I think this is a bit bigger than a fly. So after they get an assessment or whatever, they put something into his ear to kind of numb it, and then they start extracting stuff out. And how do I say this? At first it was some earwax, right? Clumps, like clumps, like balls. Initially though, they thought that it might have actually been they found clumps. Let's just say that they found some clumps, and then he actually gets a hold of one of these wings, and he's pulling it, and as he's pulling it, whatever it is actually coming away with it, and then the wing comes off, and he looks at it, and he's like, I think this is a roach wing? And she's like, oh no, it's not that. You know, my house is extremely clean. You know, she got defensive, and I could, you know, you can understand that. I think anybody can understand it. And he's like, okay, well, we're going to go in there. And they go back in, and I think they said they were working on this kid for like an hour. And eventually they did. They did find a roach in this kid's ear. Now, not like one of those giant roaches, like, you know, like a medium-sized little guy or whatever. Not little, but a medium-sized guy in his ear. And then they pulled everything that was basically up against this kid's eardrum, like these large chunks that they think this roach was actually attracted to and was eating, until the damn thing got itself stuck and it died in his ear. And I'm sitting here thinking about this, and I'm like, the irony, you know what I'm saying? The irony, if Phil ever woke up one morning and said, you know what, my ear doesn't feel right, and he let it go for a while until Catherine was like, hey, you need to go to like an ear specialist or something. And come to find out, something crawled in his ear and died. And that's why he wasn't able to hear correctly. That would be ironic if that ever happened to Phil. But the fact that it happened to this kid shocked me. And in the comment section, they were like, yeah, that's not really an uncommon occurrence of like something, like some type of insect, like kind of crawling up in the kid's ear at night and whatever. And it takes a while for them to figure it out. But you would think you would, you know, the sensation, the scratching, this, that, and the third. But if you have all this wax buildup, for example, you may not catch it. Or, it's very easy for a child to kind of let shit like that go for whatever reason. Or a parent just kind of, whatever. Wild shit. So YouTube was rather unexpectedly helpful, I guess. I don't know. So, makes you want to sleep with earbuds, with like earplugs or some shit. Semantics, though.
Everything I was told to take care of this right ear, and now the left ear hurts.
The king of gout. Gout. You gout, McFist. Gout. Fucking butt fuck. Gout farts. Gout.
This time around, they sent a different kind of eardrop. That apparently is a stronger. Late stream tonight is my final stream of Call of Duty Warzone. I'm not playing.
Is he still not going to tell us what the medication is? I guess not. Also, that final stream of Call of Duty, I will more than likely go over that, just because it's the last time he's going to play it. Because, you know, the new Call of Duty Cold War, if I remember correctly, that should be announced, I don't know, soon? It's May. So it's usually announced in like late May. So he's probably doing that. Now, not to say that Phil usually doesn't play Call of Duty games past May, because I think he played Blackout, damn near up to the point where Modern Warfare Remastered came out, but don't quote me on that. So, like I said, I'd like to see what his last session's about. Maybe we get some laughs out of it. Could be fun. I plan on going over his older PUBG as well as Blackout gameplays on another channel. So that's a thing. That should be fun, I think. Fun stuff. But I'm anxious to see what his last stream was about and whatnot. I'll eventually get to that. But that might be cool. I might post it like on a weekend or something.
After tonight, the game stinks in my opinion. And it's sad because it's not the world design. I actually like the map that they have for Warzone. It's the actual core shooting, gameplay mechanics. They're just not good. The server connections are terrible.
You're not a real gamer. Oh, I guess I'm just not a real gamer. And Phil's the lol cow of the gaming community.
Now, I'm going to be honest. I know for a fact some people here already this morning.
Real quick, as we get ready to go into his talk about Chapter 7, he does have a rather decent point as it pertains to Call of Duty Remastered. it has its issues, whether it's server issues, I should say. Like, the inconsistencies with the time to kill is definitely a thing, to be honest. And I don't know about any of you guys who are still currently playing it or not, but something that I've ran into a little bit, it doesn't happen all the time, is that I'll have full shields, and literally I'll get peppered a couple of times and I'm done. It's as if I didn't have shields at all. Really, really awkward shit. Also, I've been watching a good amount of Dr. Disrespect, and he's been running into a shitload of hackers. Like, they're coming for him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's hackers galore on his last couple streams. So that's a thing. Speaking of which, I was told, and sadly, it's not the case. Not to say that these people lied, but that's not the case. That Black Ops 2, that Treyarch was trying to go in and trying to fix it to try to eliminate the hackers. Now, normally, that would be taken as a good sign, because maybe we'll get a Call of Duty remastered, not revisioned, but a remastered that will come back at some time or another, which is what we would all want. I don't want it to be reimagined. Just remaster it. You know what I'm saying? Just update the graphics and, you know, a couple of tweaks here or there. Nothing necessary to the gameplay, but a couple of tweaks here or there, and then go ahead and send it back out to us. That's what they should do. And when they did that for Modern Warfare, I would assume that we all, in Modern Warfare 2, I think, is getting a remastered. At least the campaign is. Hopefully Black Ops 2 will eventually get it as well. That's all we really want. But the fact that they tried to go back and fix the old game is, I guess, a step in the right direction, even though it's like 8 years old. And in truth, if you're going to still charge full price at times for Black Ops, you're certainly going to do it for the map packs. You would think there would be a bit more dedication to the servers to keep the hackers out, but there isn't. Anyway, what they did is they basically Treyarch disabled the theater mode, thinking that that would keep the hackers out. The moment that was announced, a bunch of big YouTubers, as usual, talked about it. They had a couple of good games on there, and then the hackers went ahead and found the new rework, and everything's on and popping, to be honest. For, I won't call the actual modder's name out, but for his particular mod, which allows you to get God mode and all the cheats and hacks or whatever, he said in a blog post that's erased now, that he took this as a personal challenge, and he said he was up for it. He said that he'll have a new update for anybody who had his mod pack. He said he'll have it up in like 3 hours flat. He had it up in 2 and some change. Like, completely ripped it. And then, to go even further, his mod pack will actually allow you to reactivate theater mode if you choose to. Womp womp. Anyway, so that was a total bust. Now, most people are saying that, well, if the big YouTubers didn't talk about it, there wouldn't have been all this attention, and then, you know, this wouldn't have happened. The hackers wouldn't have came back at full force. But in actuality, they were trying to drum up support for it. I don't know if we can actually come at their necks like that. But either which way, to abandon one Call of Duty for the next Call of Duty is just, it's not worthwhile if they're going to keep selling it to us at a full price. You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to. Like, I understand that you want to promote the new game and so on and so forth, but, like, remember the stuff that you've already put out. Because, excuse me, at the end of the day, it's part of your legacy. And if you're going to let the hackers and everything get in there and just kind of fuck it all up, and you don't give a shit because you're already moving on to the next this year's cash grab, that only hurts your legacy in the end. And I think that's something that Activision needs to really take into consideration. Some people say that they are, but they really need to take it into consideration moving forward. If not, all it takes is some competition to really come in and try to, you know, to kind of shake the first-person shooter genre up. The military first-person shooter, I should say. But I don't think there's going to be a Call of Duty killer anytime soon, to be honest. I just think that Activision needs to step up. You're making all this money year in, year out. The least you could do is that. And give the actual fan base what they want. where now you have like top pro players now going ahead and stepping away from their sweet spots to go ahead and rant about it, which is probably too late, being that the new game's coming out in like in like 4 months. But semantics, right? Semantics. Well, 4 or 5 months, I should say.
Brought up personal stuff. It's not an open topic for discussion, nor will I be discussing it. So you may hear me gloss over a few contributions here and say thanks and not talk about any messages because their messages are about private stuff that I am legally obligated to not talk about on my streams. I hope you guys understand. Alright, so for example, the first tip of the day was someone named Bless. They tipped me $1, and they said something I can't talk about. So I appreciate the support, Bless, but I can't really answer anything. But thank you for the $1 tip.
You know what's crazy? A little bit obscene, but certainly kind of crazy. That you get $130,000 dismissed and still cry broke. You get $130,000 dismissed and still cry broke. And then on top of that, you still owe money to the federal government as well as to the state of Washington. And you're still on the chopping block at mid-first for the condo in Connecticut. Like, he isn't out there's still blood in the water, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I'm saying? The hunt for Piggy October isn't over at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, he's not done. And the thing is, too, given his current position, right, with the whole vest streak thing, we talked about this in the last broadcast, that for the amount of money that he's bringing in off the vest streak, he should be completely and totally up to date with his taxes for the state business and occupation tax as well as his federal tax respectively. He should be completely up to date with those now. There's like no excuse. And I guarantee you he's going to sit there and drag that shit along for the next couple of years too. He's going to milk those air quote payment plans for everything that it's worth. Because as long as they allow him to keep paying the bare minimum, that's exactly what the fuck he's going to do. And all he's going to do is get himself in even more trouble. And then, as I had said, as many people have said, as soon as he's allowed to get credit cards back in another decade or so, he'll get himself right back in trouble again. The only difference is, in my opinion, this is my hot take on it, is that he'll drive his credit the next time into the dirt as he's knee deep in the dirt himself. I can almost, I wouldn't say guarantee it, but I have the nagging inkling about it, because that's going to be to take Michael Jordan's recent documentary. If you haven't seen it, you should. So it's amazing. I think it's like 10 or 12 parts, but that's going to literally be Phil Burnell, DSP Dark Side Phil's last dance. Literally, that's what that shit's going to be. He's going to run his credit into the dirt, and then he's going to clock out permanently. And he's just the type of ass clown to do that. He hasn't learned anything from this, to be honest. But we'll talk about that as we move forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, K Mayshart 101 tipped me $100.
Oh my God. It's terrible. They're not using conscious thought anymore.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means. I'll tell you what it means. It means we already hit the vest goal and we didn't even start yet. Right? Thank you, King Mayshart. And yes, that means once we start with gameplay, I'll have the vest on from the get-go. The vest will be on all day long as I play Banjo-Tooie. Okay? Just being honest, tip me $1.30. It says you claim everyone is a Terminator in Warzone. That's because everyone has 3 levels of armor. If you want to get one shot, play multiplayer. Come on, Phil, you got a win on PUBG, Fortnite, Blackout, and even DayZ. Don't end the Battle Royale win streak, get a win. Dude, out of all the Battle Royale games you just mentioned, this one, Warzone, is the most tanky bullshit. Why is it?
It's not just that, though. It's not just the fact that it's tanky, it's kind of inconsistent, so on and so forth. He can't... excuse me. How do I word this? The camping bullshit that he pulled off in Blackout, he can't pull it off here. Like, he can't. He just can't. He's tried, but he can't. It's just not made for that. And there's a lot of inconsistencies, as we talked about earlier, on why it would prevent him from doing so. But, excuse me, that camping style is just not working. And whatnot. And Phil has never been good with moving from cover to cover. He barely ever, if ever, uses the vehicles to his advantage. to be honest, he's a hoarder. He kind of he'll sit there and try to devour, if you will, everything that he sees on the ground, and that usually is what gets him popped. It's just, it is what it is. Like, it wasn't, it has to force him to be more aggressive, and that's not in his nature. And that's not in his, air quotes, play style. And that's kind of one of the things that ended up getting him. And then he wasn't utilizing anything really, too. Like, you're picking up all these different items and whatnot. You're picking up certain kill streaks or score streaks, whatever, and you're not implementing those either. It's just, it was all a waste on him. He played the game for this long and didn't learn a goddamn thing. And that can be said for most of the first-person shooters that he played. He learned just enough to continue to get by and get these idiots to give him money each and every week. But he didn't ever really try to immerse himself into the game. He just played it to its bare minimum to get what he could out of it. That's basically it.
That I could get the drop on someone, aim and fire at them, shoot them literally a dozen times, unload my clip into them. My clip runs out of bullets. I reload my gun and start firing again. Then I instantly die, and then you see their kill cam, and according to their kill cam, I never even hit them. The game sucks.
I mean, Phil's aim is shit though too. Let's be honest. Now, can I say that his aim is off all the time? You probably have to talk to like Lightside Bill about that and whatnot, because he's probably watched way more well, that too. He's watched way more Blackout and Warzone than I have. But Phil's aim is garbage. It's absolute garbage. And it's because, one, he just has bad aim, and two, he can't see. If he changed his sensitivity, it would probably help. Maybe? I don't know. He's not really, like, yet again, he's not playing the game for any enjoyment. He's just doing it to kill time. So, would you really expect him to get better? I don't know. Semantics.
I'm sorry, and maybe other people have better experiences with it on PC or whatever. On PS4, I hate this fucking game. I think it really is shit. And it's just cash in on the Call of Duty name, another battle royale with a silly gimmick that, oh, you get to revive with the gulag. Wow, that's great. But your game's core gameplay mechanics are terrible. Your server connections are terrible. Why the fuck do I care about this? Right? Last Rambo, Cheers says, why do rules exist? Rules exist, I think, because sadly there's just some people who don't possess common sense. If people all had common sense and knew to not do things like, oh, I'm just gonna hurt others for the sake of doing it because I'm a complete fucking mouth-drooling idiot, then no one would need rules. But sadly, there are a bunch of stupid mouth-drooling idiots in the world who just can't fucking control themselves, and therefore you need to have rules and regulations laid out so that people can be protected from their stupidity. It's that simple. I'm trying to maintain a chill vibe here on my stream, and the last thing that I want is all that derailed by a bunch of idiots, so we have to have rules in place. That's why.
Every single day he comes in, he's toxic.
Dark Souls Redemption Run, I already did that.
Alright, off that basic logic, how many times has he been suspended off Twitch? 2? At least? At least. Breaking blatant rules that were already established, and he sat there and he cried and he squealed and he got on his knees like a good hoe and he sucked whoever's virtual dick he had to suck to get back on. He broke rules. He thought he was above those rules, like, Alinity, for example. He knew that you shouldn't do some of the things that he did that ended up getting him banned and or disciplined in some way, shape, or form, and he did it anyway. And then cried and pleaded ignorance and then swore to God that he'd never do it again. So if common sense tells you that someone in your chat says something that you don't like, you hovering over their name and then going after their physical appearance probably wasn't a smart idea. Like, common sense probably tells you, you know what, I shouldn't do that. Being that the only reason why I'm on this platform is it's the only little hug box on the internet, at least for right now anyway, where I can get people deplatformed if I don't like them. You would think he would have understood that, but he thought he was going to get away with it. He really did. That's why he was all shocked and scared when his stream went down in the middle of his stream, of his streaming schedule, if you will, and he had sat there and cried and complained about what the fuck, what's going on. So he knew what he was doing was wrong. He knew he broke the rules, but he thought he was going to get away with it. He thought he was in his words, not mine, the exception to the rules. You know that famous little saying that Phil has. That's what he thought he was. So it's very funny how Phil was so quick to break the rules or skate past them and whatnot, but then you can't break his rules, though. At all. You know what I mean? And we're talking about off of a platform that is his job. It's like his last real lifeline. And he was willing to give all of that up because some dude with a blue beard, or blue hair in general, I can't remember now, had something to say about him. And it wasn't, if I remember correctly, it wasn't even innately bad. It was really more of questioning Phil's attitude and or decision, which is probably no different than calling Phil a bitch, to be honest. Semantics.
That was the magic run. Remember, my original playthrough of Dark Souls I never finished. The second run, people held my hand and just guided me through the whole game with summons. The third run, I got lucky and I got the Black Knight Halberd drop, which made the game piss easy. And the fourth run, I did pure magic. So, like, I don't know what else I could do. I did 4 runs of the goddamn game, you know? Ladies and gentlemen, I said this on the pre-stream. I guess I should say it again because it is now 40 minutes into the stream. I am not at liberty to discuss any personal matters of my own behind the scenes. They have nothing to do with the streams. This includes financial, this includes legal. I cannot discuss them because they're still in process. Nothing is set yet. So because of that, I cannot talk a single thing about it. I can't mention it. Please understand that. Mature Adult Bruce brought something up that probably he thought was okay to bring up. It's not. I can't talk about it. So do not bring that stuff up tonight. If you do, you're going to end up getting moderated. I can't. Legally, my hands are tied. My lawyers told me you can't say shit, so I can't say shit. Well, okay, I can technically say shit, but I can't say shit about that shit. See what I'm saying?
Oh, I gotta take a sip. Phil's Phillies cheer says everything okay if you're ignoring us. What are you talking about? I've been talking with you all night, Phil's Phillies. What on earth are you speaking of? Seriously, now you're really off base. I don't know what on earth you're talking about.
I must get the vest to celebrate. I'll be right back. Phew, sweaty. Sweaty butt tonight.
Oh!
Benefactor.
Oh!
Where are we headed?
That is disgusting.
Oh, Mature Adult's talking about freaking Wings of Redemption. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, Mature Adult. I don't know anything about the guy. I don't know anything about promises.
I'm getting tired of hearing that too. How are you gonna sit there and say, I don't know shit about Wings, yet he raffles off shit about Wings anytime Wings is brought up? I'm sure if you were to look back at Phil's viewer history, if it's not public, but if one was to do so, you would probably see down the rabbit hole with the Wings Redemption, Wings of Redemption episode. I'm sure you would find, was it June the King? You would find his documentary on Wings. I'm sure Phil has watched those. I'm pretty confident that he has, because if he watches the bullshit on Boogie, and at current he's keeping up with the situation with who's beefing right now. I was gonna say It's a Gundam and Pokefake, but actually she kind of already lost that. Then again, sadly he took some damage in that shit too for no reason. He was just. He was talking about one of her fucking pay pigs and shit. Whatever. Anyway, not that though, because that's kind of already squashed. He lost. Even though in reality, no one won that because he lost a sponsorship out of that deal. Keemstar and H3H3 Productions. H3H3 Productions. Those guys are beefing right now, and Phil's all over that shit. He's eating that shit up. So, and there's multiple videos, like really good videos out, as well as H3H3, as well as Keemstar. They've actually made a couple of videos for, going back and forth at each other. I think there's like there's one of each right now, but I'm sure there's gonna be more. I'm gonna need to go ahead and get those before they fucking delete them, because you know they're both bitches. But he's keeping up with that and whatnot, and I'm sure he's probably gonna go ahead and interject himself into that situation, or use it as a platform to be like, please don't bully me, because you know Phil's a bitch, so that's a bitch move. We'll have to wait and see on that. But him acting like he doesn't know who Wings is, or not wanting to acknowledge him, or treats Wings as if he's beneath him, is getting really, really old. You know what I mean? It's getting really old. Like I would say DSP is as familiar with Wings to any degree as Rich from Review Tech USA is familiar with DSP. It is what it is. They're like the Super Gout brothers or some shit, except for there's 3 of them instead of 2. That's just the way I look at it. He knows exactly who the fuck Wings is. He knows exactly what Wings is about. He knows what the memes are. He knows what the trolling is. He knows who the players are. He knows everything. I don't know why he keeps acting like he's ignorant to the situation. Yet again, he's trying to make it seem like, oh, I'm above all of that. You know what I mean? I don't worry about other people's shit and so on and so forth. Then you come on to some of the night streams and you see him like having like 20-minute sessions roasting wings. So it is what it is.
He's talking about Wings of Redemption. Apparently at one point made a promise to his fans he was going to lose weight, and he had a procedure done that was supposed to allow him to lose weight, and apparently he didn't lose the weight, or he gained it all back or something. I don't know anything about that. I don't know why you would even ask me about that. Like, I don't know the guy personally. I don't know what he promised. I don't know anything about it. That'd be like me delving into someone else's private business that I have no business talking about because I don't have any kind of knowledge of anything about it. But I'm trying to get shock factor views on something on YouTube or on my stream because I'm a hack. I don't have any actual fucking talent, so I delve into other people's personal matters and drag them through the mud for months on end to try to get my own, personal benefit. And then, the problem with that is, months later, you can all come crawling back.
What he's doing right now is what he's doing right here is exactly what he's doing right now, or right around now, with this whole H3 Productions thing with Keemstar. Just to give you guys a bit of an example. By the time you guys hear this, you'll already know that. If not, maybe that whole beef will be done by then. But that's what this is. And he thinks that by interjecting his situation into that situation should make people like detractors, trolls, haters, and critics feel bad. And as well as reinforce and reinstill into his own audience that these people are horrible, these people are terrible, and you shouldn't give them any time of day, and if you get a chance, you should probably attack them. So literally, he's pig snorting to them to kind of, to reinforce the pignosis. The problem is, ladies and gentlemen, is this is kind of like what Anita does, or what she used to do, I should say. Anita Scarheesian. I know I'm butchering her last name, but whatever. She's butchered quite a bit too, so we got blood on both our hands. He's doing no different. He's not doing anything really different than what she does or what she's known to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it kind of all goes hand in hand in a lot of ways. Obviously, she went after a whole gaming industry and culture, and Phil just exploited that gaming industry and culture to his own benefit, and then he got shunned out of it. Like, he's literally out there on the outskirts, and he's trying to figure out a way to get back in, or he thinks if he can outlive us, eventually he'll be able to squirm himself back in. And it's just not going to happen. You're too old, you're not relevant. I dare say you were ever relevant, to be honest. And plus, you're terrible at games. And you're terrible for a bunch of different things, but the main thing is that you look at games to be nothing. You look at games for nothing more than to be exploited. You don't care to learn anything about the story, learn anything about the mechanics. You don't give a shit about any of that. It's a quick cash grab, and that's it. And people saw through it, or people finally woke the fuck up and figured it out. Just saying.
Right in your fucking face and make you look like a complete fucking idiot. Now, by the way, what I'm talking about is not in context to anything in particular whatsoever. I swear, it has nothing whatsoever to do with me at all. I'm just saying that I wouldn't want to talk about something.
Now, that cowardly move that you heard right there is similar to what he did to Toby Turner when he took shots at him for having, not only for starting a gaming channel, outgrowing, or basically outpacing Phil. Phil accused him of stealing his views and sucking up his fan base. Also, him getting on commercials, him being invited to big events and making a whole lot of money, him showing up at award shows and hosting those award shows. He kind of did something very similar for against Toby Turner, leading up to a couple of ads, or an ad, I should say, for a video game that Toby Turner starred in being put on his videos, and he put up a big stink about that and wanted Toby Turner to apologize to him for it. As if Toby Turner had anything to do with that. Machinima was the one who okayed that situation. Not Tobuscus. Not Toby Turner. Anyway, same type of scenario, though. Same depth and style.
I know nothing about just to get shock value views and then months later look like a complete fucking moron. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's just a comment, just off the hip, I'm just saying this. It doesn't reference anything in particular, guys, just so you know. I'm just happen to be saying this right now by complete chance. Okay.
There's a sick motherfucker on the internet called Snort Burnell Pig Latin. Snort A Burnell A.
Bill Fresnel cheers and imagine not fulfilling a promise you took money for. That's the lowest of the low. Yeah, And, you know, admittedly, the one major time that it ever happened to me where I took money as a perk for Patreon, and then people basically told me don't do that, and I said, okay, I don't really want to do it anyway, we'll do something different. People completely freaked out, right? People villainized.
Wait, people told you don't do it, and you didn't really want to do it anyway, so you didn't do it. If he says Project 7, I'll get him. Give me just a second.
And said that I'd stolen fucking money and I was a scammer. To this day, people still say that that was a scam. And that was like years and years ago. People still say that was a dirty, rotten scam. For like $200. No lie, it was $200 was like the big thing, or $300, something like that. It wasn't even like a significant amount of money. But people just went nuts. Now, I understand what you're saying. If Mr. Wing...
Okay, so yeah, we're talking about Project 7. One, he said that the reason why he couldn't do... let's go back to pig lore, ladies and gentlemen. The pig lore is the reason why he couldn't do Project 7 is because Street Fighter V beta was coming out. Right? It was the beta. Yeah, the beta was coming out. And he wanted to play that. And the stars were aligned. And it made... This was the new hotness, right? That was coming out. And he had to play that. You know what I mean? And it is what it was. Project 7 wasn't going to not happen. It was just going to be put to the side. But he has to do this. This is the new release. This is the new hotness. And he needs to do that. You know what I mean? He's the one who made that decision. That's what he initially said. I know that because I've gone over that video. Now, let's talk about the money part of it. That's also a lie. He says it was $200 or $300 and whatnot. And it was way more than that. It was... He caught them... If my memory serves me correct, he caught them for like $6,000 or $7,000. He caught them for a grip. It wasn't just a couple of $100. He caught them for a grip. That's the reason, if nothing else, Project 7 was the reason why he was hitting all those Patreon goals each and every month. That's what that was. Now I don't have the full details on that. You have to go back and watch some of the old Tekken videos, praise be, where he goes over like the Project 7 situation and and how it was linked to Patreon. Like, if nothing else, like Project 7 was the driving force behind Patreon in its early inception. So that's what that was. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, the next lie in the pig lore is that, it wasn't to reboot the Project 7 series. It was just for a trailer, which is a blatant lie too. A blatant lie. He was going to redo the series. And all those who participated and paid for the extra tiers would get a chance to participate in Project 7. And I think he put the additional caveat that, if not Project 7, then you could participate in the either Thanksgiving or the Christmas specials that he had for that year. And just by that wording, that initially told me he was never going to do Project 7. This was just a way for him to cash in on John and Howard. That's really what it was. The cash in on that type of nostalgia. He never had any plans of doing Project 7. Ever. He ripped them off. And then, but I'm not done yet. And then when it comes to all these people being angry, as he just said there, all these people were getting angry and all these people said that he was a scammer and this, that, and the third. Originally, he said only one person was mad about it. And that was KG. KG was the only person upset about that. Everybody else was like, all right, Phil, yeah, you got to do what you got to do. No problem, Phil. We love you, Phil. No big deal, Phil. It was a dig, but no big deal, Phil. Go ahead and do what you got to do. And then he hated Street Fighter V, and then he just fucked himself all around. Just to give all that into, just to put all that into context. That's what the situation is around Project 7. And he keeps pushing the goalpost back, quote unquote, or he keeps changing up the story, right? Because the reality is, if people really decide to go back and look, you're going to find exactly how he screwed them over. Just like how he screwed them over on that, what was it? That Banjo and Kazooie? No, not Banjo Kazooie. That Crash Bandicoot marathon he was supposed to do all those years ago, which was linked to Patreon. And Lord knows he wants that shit brought back up. Same type of situation, same depth and style. So that's the reality on that.
He basically lied to his viewers and said he was saving a bunch of money to do a procedure, and he either didn't do it or he wasn't honest about it. That's kind of messed up. You know, I'll be honest with all of you. I've always told you the truth. Whenever I did a fundraiser, a special event where I needed to raise funds, whether I said it was for taxes or whatever, that's exactly where that money went.
I had to lie about
Really? So where did the money come from to get Catherine over here? Just saying, because at the time that we were collecting money and doing fundraisers, that was supposed to be tax money. But all of a sudden, Catherine show up, and then we find out years later that taxes haven't been paid in years. Just saying. Remember, 2007, ladies and gentlemen, walk with me. 2017. 2017. Hey guys, I got this looming problem going on. I don't really want to talk about it right now, and oh my God, it's getting worse. Hey guys, I got this issue. Apparently I owe this money to the state, and my tax lawyer screwed me over, and man, I got to pay this money, and I don't know what I'm going to do about it, man. Oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. And then next thing you know, following, hey guys, we're going to do this fundraiser. Hey guys, you guys are being so generous, sending me all this money and whatnot. Hey guys, if I could get on my hands and knees right now and say thank you, I would on camera. You know what I'm saying? I would do it. I would do it. Remember all that? You guys remember all of that throughout, like, after basically August of 2017. Then 2018, in February, Cat shows up. Then we find out 2019 we find out he's behind on his taxes. Then when we find out about the whole bankruptcy saga, the bankruptcy arc, if you will, or saga, then you come find out that he is behind on all of his taxes for years. Just throwing that out there. So everything he told you about every fundraiser, all that money went to exactly where it was supposed to go. Yet we're like 2 or 3 years behind in our federal, and we're 2 or 3 years behind in our state and business occupation tax. I'm just going to go ahead and let that float around in your noodle for a little bit.
because I had to protect my family, right?
You know, I always told you guys what it was, and it always got me out of hot water when you guys helped me and supported me with that stuff. I would never lie about that. You know, that's the kind of person I am. I would feel so awfully guilty. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I was lying to you guys about something that I was doing a special event to raise funds for. But that's me. Not everyone's like that.
Absolutely zero self-consciousness or morality, having no feeling of remorse for hurting others, you know. What is it? I think it's called...
Oh, yeah. And I'm not even done yet, because you saw Burnell kind of backed up my points. Then we go ahead, then in April of 2019, right? Oh, my parents are sick early 2019. Oh, my parents are getting really sick and whatnot, and you know, I don't know how much time they have left, and I want to go and see them, but I can't, guys, because I'm trying to get this money together for this back taxes or whatever. Gives us that spiel for like a month, and then all of a sudden, all right, guys, you know, I talked to my parents, and they really want to see Cat. Sorry, let's get the wording right. My parents are dying to meet Cat, and they're gonna pay for us to go out there and see them. So, yeah, guys, you know how I told you guys the weeks prior that there's no way I can go out there because I owe so much I owe so much money in taxes that there's no way I can afford to take a week off to go out and see them. Now my parents are going to give us the money. Sorry, my sick and dying parents are going to give us the money to go out there and visit them. Hey, Phil, are you and Kat going to go out there and get married? April 1st, actually, of 2019. Quote me on this shit. Hey, Phil, are you and Kat going to get married when you guys go out there to Connecticut? No, man, there's no way we can do that. We'd like to get married. We really would, but we don't have the money to do that. And like I said, I'm just taking her out there to actually visit them, and they want to give us, you know, just a little bit of time off because they understand my situation and they understand how stressed out I am, and so on and so forth. That's all this is. That's what this is all about. Then April 10th, the announcement comes on Twitter and Instagram. Hey guys, we're married. I'm not done yet though. So then we get married. Then Phil, while he's there, has a sit down with his mom and dad, or at least his mom for sure. And he tells them the situation, and they're like, hey, Phil, you need to get a real job. You know, you need to come up with a plan. And I think Phil's 5 to 10 year plan was, well, you know, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, which is what got me into debt, to get myself out of debt, and then I'm going to get a real job after I'm out of debt. Which is kind of counterintuitive, because if you can keep doing the thing that puts you into debt to get you out of debt, why would you need to get a real job after that? Semantics, though. Semantics. And as a wedding gift, not only did his parents fly him and Catherine out there, pay for the wedding, got them some gifts, put some money in his pocket, but excuse me, also fronted up the money that he was supposed to use to go ahead and get himself onto the payment plan for those back taxes. You guys keep it up? But he ain't never lied though. Everything he ever told you guys was real. Everything he told you was true. Ass clowns like me lied about everything. Everything. Made it all up. Made it all up. I had an amazing weekend with MILF and cookies, and I came home and I was like, you know what? I'm going to say that Phil actually went to Connecticut to get married, but used the pretense that his parents were sick and dying to cover it up. Huh. And the $2,000 that he made, $2,000 plus dollars, he made before he actually went out there? Oh, that was just that was the money that he actually had to use to get himself married. And then the 2000 and then the fundraiser he had before that, right? Because remember, there was 2 fundraisers before he actually left to get married. That fundraiser money, that money right there went to, I can't say it's going to go to taxes because, you know, Phil doesn't pay his taxes. I can't say that Kat has some type of interesting medical condition because that's not going to work well. I don't know. I'm a detractor. I'll come up with some clever lie for that. Oh, maybe I can say that he has a pet of some type, and we don't know about it yet. Maybe that's why he was in some mad dash to get that money. I don't know if anybody's gonna fall for it, but you know, I'm a detractor, and my fan bases are idiots too. So you know, we'll go with that. Semantics. And yet, everything that I just said, sarcastic as fuck, actually ended up coming out to be true. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what the detractors told you. Based off the information he told us. And it almost all came to fruition. I can't remember who called the situation on the cat. That was either Lightside Bill or Mr. Huffstuff. I can't remember who did that, but someone predicted that one. Good. Kudos to them on that. Kudos to them on that. Someone predicted the marriage thing too. I can't remember who did that and whatnot. I think a lot of us said that though, but someone definitely said it first. I just can't remember who. But big ups to them. And yet, all of that stuff came to fruition, though. All of that money that was raised from 2017 up until late 2017, all the way up till early April of 2019. Where's that money at? Because Catherine moved it. Because remember, Panda left Phil early 2017. Kat moved in Kat moved in February of 2018. They got married in early 2019, April of 2019. Because Phil was asked that question on stream if him and Kat were going to get married April 1st. Phil's birthday is on April 6th. They were married on the 10th. Just throwing it out there, though. All that. It's all just more of that crazy detractor conspiracies, though. Right?
Being a sociopath?
I think, if anything, this whole worldwide pandemic has made us realize that not everyone's like us. Like, when I hear from my wife that there are people doing fucking, like, superfluous clothing shopping at her store at night, I'm like, it's the middle of a pandemic and people could be spreading a virus and killing others. They don't care because they need to buy a pair of fucking sneakers, or, you know, they want to go try on slacks and shit. I don't know. It's fucked up.
What do you care? One, weren't you the same person who said initially, I know I said this in the last broadcast, that the virus wasn't a thing? Then you said that, oh, it's not a big deal because it's not affecting me. Then you said that, oh, maybe everybody should get it and whatnot so we can build an immunity to it. But now all of a sudden, once toilet paper and water was coming up missing, then all of a sudden you were scared, and then all of a sudden you had a problem with things. And then when you were able to get to grocery stores and things were starting to kind of lighten up a little bit and things were a bit more abundant, then you started getting upset that people were taking, a lady was taking like multiple cans or jars of pasta sauce. What? And here's the thing, though, too. Semantics. I'm sure someone has said this before me. If they haven't, then you heard it here first. Phil has an Amazon account. Phil has an Amazon Prime account. From that Amazon Prime account, he can order from Amazon Pantry and have stuff delivered to him rather quickly, to be honest, even with all the situation that was going on. So if he didn't want to leave his house, he didn't have to. Matter of fact, even a couple of the grocery stores around Phil have delivery services, and or there are delivery options made available to a lot of people, and a lot of in multiple states. He could use that. Matter of fact, let me give you an example. Zachary Michael goes over Amberlynn and Chantel stuff, drama, content, whatever you want to call it. It's entertaining. I like it. But he has not stepped into a grocery store since the pandemic started. He just uses a delivery service. It's really cheap. They're very efficient. He appreciates it, and it's worked out great. There's a lot of people who have done that. So what exactly is the problem? And to back up my Amazon pantry situation, for example, Phil actually did an unboxing of that with Panda. It's a DSP tries it. You can find it on the King of Hate vlogs. Just throwing it out there, though. Just throwing it out there. DSP news.
Anyway.
Fuck that, Phil. You are a dirty, rotten liar.
Top 6. This is so dumb.
Oh shit, you got fucked. You got proper fucked in that corner. Oh, that was hurtful. That was hurtful. And the thing is, Phil, especially when you get in trouble, you're good to be getting on your knees like a good Twitch slot. Did you ever think that the reason why you got proper fucked the way you did is because they were pretty much all headshots? Just throwing that out there. I'm just like, you heard him coming. I could hear your sound whoring through this audio, and you still got. Oh wow.
This game is terrible. This is why I don't want to play it anymore. This is why I don't want to play it anymore. This is out of control. There was no actual way my gun could have missed him. My whole clip unloaded in his body, and he just turned and went like this and killed me. This is why I'm done with it after tonight. Are you kidding me? Oh, what legit fun gameplay. The guy's right there, open fire into his body. He can't move. Every bullet's connecting. He just nonchalantly turns in the middle of my gunfire and kills me instantly.
Yeah, those first couple of shots when the guy came around the corner were off, and that's when the guy. And once I think he got two or three shots on the guy, and the guy turns around, and then that was when the firefight kind of broke out. So, and Phil lost because where Phil's positioned on his knees like a good whore, he's taking headshots. And there's the headshots are a thing.
This game is a piece of fucking donkey shit. Activision and Infinity Ward should be fucking ashamed they made it. It's that bad. Watch that fucking clip and tell me your game is good. And go fuck yourself. Okay.
But then if you tweeted that clip at Activision or Infinity Ward, he would get mad at you and say, oh, it was taken out of context. That wasn't taken out of context. That is what you said and how you felt. Now you're just mad because it makes you look bad. Semantics, though. Semantics.
Over 1,800 milligrams of sodium. This is one of the saltiest things.
Despite his seriously, to be fair, in regards to Cyberpunk during the gameplay preview with voiceovers, talking about the game, they do major emphasis on world building, side missions, and all the choices you have that can affect the story. It's just the dumb shit like genitals that make it for in-your-face headlines. I mean, I understand what you're saying, Swag, but at the same time, you have to understand that CD Projekt Red is purposely doing that on purpose because they want those headlines. There's no reason to make your own penis in Cyberpunk. It just doesn't have to happen. It doesn't have to be in the game. It's stupid. What the fuck? That was weird. The reason that's in the game is because they want that headline. They want every piece of possible attention they could bring towards their game. Making your own private parts will not add to the gameplay experience whatsoever. It just won't. It's not going to. But they did it. They put it in the game to get that headline, you know? So it's their fault. I understand what you're saying. Yes, there is good things to emphasize, and the press doesn't do that. So then why make the stupid shit for the press to emphasize incorrectly to begin with? Just to put it in your game and be more mature about it. But they're not. They want that. They want the shock factor, the quick buy from an idiot who's a mouth-drooling moron. Yeah, I can make a dick. I gotta buy the game now. Fucking stupid idiots.
I mean, this is coming from the same idiot that's probably going to play it on day one. 2, you don't have to engage with that if you don't want to, Phil. And 3, I mean, that's the angriest I think I've ever seen him get over a penis. Ever. To be honest. I don't understand. I don't get it. Phil, did you have an awkward taste when you kissed Kat the other night? You can tell me, Phil. You can. You really can. If not, you could ask her just to keep like a miniature bottle of mouthwash on her, some chewing gum. She can even brush her teeth before she leaves Tyrone or Jim's apartment. These are all things, Phil. Just throwing it out there. Womp womp.
Get me that banana. I need banana, tasty banana. Put banana in my mouth. Squeeze the peel, it comes in then. Squeeze banana.
I would like to say thank at least some of you for agreeing with me, because it gets frustrating when, like, I have an opinion about something like that. Like, I don't want to see tons of stupid sexualized content in a fucking good game. You know, and then people are like, yeah, Phil's a prude, and baby, he really changed, an old fart because he got married. Like, I mean, yeah, I am older, that's definitely a part of it.
Wait, so you need people to reinforce an opinion that you believe in. You can't just stand on your own if that's the case? No, it needs to be a complete and total fucking hug box over there. And whatever Dictator Snort says goes for everybody. You all have to be on the exact same goddamn page. If not, you guys are off the reservation. Holy shit.
I'm not gonna lie. You know, when I was younger, maybe I sought that shit out more. But I don't care about that stuff anymore, you know?
I haven't had sex in ages.
Dry stale prune. DSP, there you go. Ew. Ew, a dry stale prune. Ew. A lot of people think that prunes are like an old people thing to make you shit or something, but I really enjoyed them. See, a lot of people are making fun of me right now. I loved them. As a kid, I ate prunes all the time. No lie.
9 targets remain standing. Sort them out.
9? Oh my god, top 10 again.
Well, I guess at least he was regular. He might need to get used to it because he's going to need it as he gets older. Why'd you hesitate to open the door? What good was it for you to sit there and go into a full dash, vault over that railing, run up to the door, and then hesitate twice before opening it? Someone could have lit your ass up if that was the case. If you were on teams, you would have definitely have gotten yourself and whoever behind you killed. Semantics, though.
Oh, I'm dead. Well, nothing I can do. Nothing I can do.
That was a smart move. Light his ass up, let him go into the shed, knowing damn well that the gas was coming in, and just wait for him to come out. That was a pretty clever move. And the funny thing is too, right, is the guy may have assumed that Phil had a gas mask as well, so he may have came out of that second door. Hilarious. Hilarious.
There. Oh, yeah, a gas mask too, yeah. Bastard had a gas mask. Leave game, yes. Alright, well, that is it for that piece of shit. I'm sad that I ever re-downloaded it, honestly, because it really wasn't a very good Battle Royale. To those who like it, good for ya.
People like the recognition. So, is it really a competition? No. But do people compete for top spots to get recognition? Yeah.
1,400. You got what? $418 in tips. Jesus. Only if Susan would have. Was it not Susan? What's her name? It was something James. Oh. Wasn't Sarah? Oh, I can't think of what the trustee's name is now. We'll just call it a trustee for now. But if she had stuck around just a little bit longer, oh my.
Phil has indoctrinated children who send him money, blatantly milking for money. It's a money pit. It's gone.
Indeed it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and go into the second and last video that will round out our broadcast, and I will see you guys in just a second. Womp womp.
Just gone like that. In an instant. Fucking gone. I just care about money. I just can't help it. I eBay. Contributions are mandatory, but I need your help. I am appealing directly to you.
Okay. Alfonso tipped me $1. Said, I don't understand your hate for the black hole thing. What's the difference between a streamer watching the black hole and talking to chat and another streamer talking to their chat while a slideshow of fan art plays? The difference is I talk to people while a slideshow of fan art plays, and then I also play a game, and we have fun discussion based around the game, and the things that I do are productive. We're not just sitting here with our thumbs up our asses because one game is shut down, and we don't act like one game is the be-all, end-all of human existence like those people do. So they'll probably be staring at that black hole literally until the game comes back, because they have absolutely no ability to create any kind of content except one single fucking game. They're one-trick ponies, and people who stare at that shit are dumb as fuck that they don't turn it off and say, I'll come back when the game comes back. You have to be a moron. So I'm sorry, it's just the truth. People come and hang out with me because I'm doing interesting stuff. If I just sat here at the camera like this all day, I wouldn't expect anyone to tune in. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't expect a single person to tune in. Oh, look, a black hole. I'm doing interesting stuff. That's why you're tuning into me. You like me as a person. You want to hear my reactions to interesting stuff. Not staring at a black hole for 2 days because I have no fucking talent and all I do is play one game. That's the difference. Okay.
This is how I play the game! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Alright, sounds good to me.
I want to make a public statement about stuff going on in my personal life, but I can't be specific. Just warning you guys, I can't give you any dirt or anything like that, alright?
Whatever. That must be from Axe the Pig. I heard that was actually a pretty good podcast, too. Podcast meaning that there's a lot to dissect and whatnot. Kind of in the mood for some, like, spicy bacon. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, for the second and last video to round out our broadcast, brought to us by Burnell DSP, proclaiming himself victorious for getting Chapter 7, everyone lied, and only I told the truth. This is from May 8th of 2020, our current year of gout. Let's get it.
Sadly, my personal life has been splattered all over the internet for the last 4 months, and there was absolutely nothing I could do about that with this whole
I like that flabby Nazi salute he just did there. That shit's hilarious.
process that I was involved in. I knew there was going to be things that were public or made public that there was no control over, alright? And so, I tried to kind of nip this whole thing in the butt way back in January. I told you guys ahead of time what was going on, and I gave you details about it and everything. And at that time, some people were like, oh, okay, and some people just kind of downplayed it. But then when the actual information that I forewarned all of you was going to hit the internet hit, all of a sudden it was like, You
didn't know it was going to hit the internet. And when you did, you kind of freaked out. You thought it wasn't going to be public, so that's kind of our first lie there. Let's see if we can go ahead and fish for some more.
drama queen on the internet latched onto this story and just ran with it for months and months and months. And they fabricated the most ridiculous, preposterous, insane concocted theories, conspiracy theories, and insane slander and negativity towards me that they possibly could.
How do you figure? In truth, right? Should Phil have gone to jail for this? Yes. Should Phil have probably had everything taken from him, or could he have lost everything? Yes. Or maybe I should say could Phil have gone to jail? Probably could have. Probably should have. If not, he definitely should have lost. He definitely should have had bacon cut off his back for this. I mean, he got away. I mean, I don't know what else to say, to be honest with you. There's no point in denying reality. He got away. And it was a couple of things. Circumstances, given that our current situation and or climate, that helped. But it's funny how he said that he was upfront and honest. Then why did he have to get his bankruptcy documents not redacted? What is it, revised? Why did he keep? I will say revised. Why did he keep revising his his bankruptcy documentation based off what detractors and people on Kiwi Farms are saying? Well, detractors, detractor Twitter, and Kiwi Farms. Why was he changing his documentation? You know, you're saying every time something crucial or something big was pointed out. If it wasn't for the detractors, he probably wouldn't have succeeded, to be honest. And if his filing was prim and proper the first time, then what was the point of changing it 2 more times? Maybe 3, but I think it was at least 2. And even though Nick Rekieta said that wasn't uncommon for someone to do so, at the same time, he also admitted that it doesn't look good. It looks like you're not being completely and totally honest. But Phil has the luck of the draw of being a complete and total fucking moron, which leads into what I said in the last broadcast that I was going to touch back on. Let's go ahead and do that. The reality of this whole situation, ladies and gentlemen, is Phil Burnell didn't learn shit from this. This bankruptcy was just another, not even a crater, I guess a pothole? Like a really big sinkhole. There we go. This is a sinkhole on the main street of Galtopia. That's all it is. In some time, it'll fill in. It'll take a lot of time because they're lazy fucks over there. And then he's just going to keep on moving. He didn't learn anything from this. His spending's not going to get curved at all. Money management and finances aren't going to be curved. Nothing. He literally learned nothing. One of the biggest bullets, not even bullets, one of the biggest pieces of ammunition that came for his castle that could ever really happen to him to some extent. He was able to deflect, whatever the case may be. Seidella was able to throw his wheelchair in front of it. Who knows? And whatnot. But at the end of the day, he didn't learn anything from this at all. He's just going to walk away with his ego even more inflated, believing that he can't be touched, and he'll just get screwed further on down the line, which is what we would expect. You guys know one of the slogans on this channel, ladies and gentlemen. You guys give him enough rope and he'll hang himself. Phil Burnell is good for that. He is good for that. As the sun rises and sets, Darkside Phil, DSP, Dark Geppetto will sit there and fuck himself over in some type of way, shape, or form. It's as regular as rain to some degree, depending on where you live. It's a thing. He can't escape that. So, like, what's the overall problem? I don't understand how this is a win, this is a victory. He's sitting over here trying to gloat, saying that all these guys, they lied to you and they weren't telling the truth and they weren't on the up and up and I was always being upfront with you. Then someone go over there and ask his ass why he had to keep changing shit on his documentation. But let's continue though, because I'm sure there's more to pick out.
Basically make it like a 4-month 3-ring circus of, wow, Phil's life sucks, Phil's going down, Phil's doing this, Phil's doing that, doing all these ridiculous, immoral, illegal things and blah, 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 blah. And none of that actually happened.
I had to lie about things because I had to protect my family, right?
Like, the truth of the matter is that the past 4 months, I just kind of sat back and watched the insanity happen on the internet. The absolute insanity of this stuff going on. And, I mean, literally every day, there's something new, some new bullshit, some new spin, negative, toxic thing that people are saying. Just because I'm in.
Thank you, Phil, for admitting that you were keeping up with everything that we were saying, even though we already knew that. And off that basis is what allowed you to go ahead and make the changes you needed. Because that's basically what he said here. That's basically what he said. I sat back as an observer, took in everything they said, and used what I needed to basically save myself. Which is essentially basically what he did. Pick it at that ear again, huh, Phil? I thought we just got over an ear infection.
personal situation that this is the only real way I can handle it and move forward with my life. All right. Like I said, legally, I'm not allowed to talk specifics at all, which is why I'm being very, very general with what I'm saying here. I hope you guys understand that, but I'm sure a lot of you already know what I'm talking about. Okay. So I just kind of sat back and I was like, what can I do? I'm just going to let it roll. Right. And people took that as because I was
I'm just going to ban.
sitting back and not saying anything about some of the absolute insane things that were going on and the conspiracy theories on the internet about me or whatever, that was, oh, well, what do they say? Silence means consent or something like that. So because I'm not addressing it, that obviously means that it's all true, right? In reality, it couldn't be further from the truth. It was that I was in the middle of a legal proceeding where the more that I said, the worse it would get for me. So I just let people say the nonsense they wanted to say on the internet, and I just continued every day to put out my fun and positive gameplay streams, all right? In the last couple of days, even more stuff has come to light.
It really was luck, but it was also circumstantial. It was also circumstantial too. Like he, like I said, or like I've said anyway, he made it deep. He's gonna have to pay the piper eventually. He has sold his soul. Someone's looking out for him. It's something. It's something. There is. Ladies and gentlemen, there are a few times in life that you will run into an individual who has so much bad luck on a regular basis that when they need some good luck in the worst possible moment, in their darkest hour, it comes through. Now, most of us would say, well, that's kind of like a regular occurrence for certain people. Not like DSP, not like Darkside Phil, not like Dark Geppetto, not like Dave. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. I don't think I've really ever tried. I just said either he sold his soul or someone's looking out for his ass. I don't know what it is, but it makes no sense. I'm not saying, I don't mean to make it come across like it's something like mythical or something magical or some shit like that, or even biblical in some ways. But it's something. It's something different. It's something different. Like and it's funny how someone like this idiot who plays the lotto as frequently as he does on a weekly basis has never hit it, even for only a couple hundred or even a couple $1,000. Not that he would tell us that, but I assume he hasn't. But yet when he really needs shit to kind of go into his favor in some way, shape, or form, it happens. I still don't consider it a win. I don't even consider it a victory, but excuse me, it's just enough to get by. It's just enough to keep going. It's like that one analogy I gave you guys. It's like being on a broken hoof, and he just kind of keeps hoofing along. Instead of getting that shit fixed, getting it reset, resting and shit, and let it come back to full strength. No, just keep on plugging with it, because he has no choice, and he's not smart enough to do anything else. It's something. It's definitely something. DSP News.
To the point where people are now shocked because people have made so much bullshit up, so much slander. People basically, content creators. We're not just talking,
That's not true. That's not that's not the reason why people are shocked. People are shocked because in a lot of ways you got over on the system. At least that's how it feels like anyway. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily matter, but it like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It just really don't. Is it anything to get mad about? No. Not at all. Remember, we're all supposed to be sitting here laughing at that shit and cutting, well, at least for me anyway, cutting bacon off his back. So this isn't anything to be upset about. But it is rather odd. It's definitely strange. You know what I mean? It definitely, I could see how someone be taken aback by it. But this is certainly nothing to lose sleep over. At all. You know what I mean? But, make of that what you will.
My haters, actual content creators on YouTube, picked up the story of my personal life over the last 4 months and took complete misinformation or speculation or lack of any facts whatsoever. And since I wasn't talking publicly about it, said, oh, well, everything we're saying must be true then, all the shit we made up, and took it that basically my life was going to fall apart. All right, that because I was in this proceeding, my entire life was going to completely fall apart. This was the end of everything for Phil, and doom and gloom. He's on borrowed time and blah, blah, blah. And then in the last couple of days, basically, the complete polar opposite has happened. All right, things have come out now publicly, and people are like, oh my God, how could this be? The sky is falling. I can't believe this because we've been talking about this for 4 months. This was the end of Phil. And now Phil really must be immortal. Phil must be that guy that's going to be around forever because no matter what comes his way, no matter what happens to him, he survives. He survived the incident 4 years ago. He survived constant slander and controversy. He survived everyone trying to eliminate him from the internet. And now he survived this legal thing. So obviously, you know.
Well, no, you didn't survive what happened with your little incident 4 years ago. That's going to haunt you till after you're dead and gone. So, because it'll always be on the internet and someone will always find a place to upload it. So that's that. As for the slander and whatever, I mean, live with it, bitch. That's your life. you really don't have too much else to say about that either which way. You've never been put into a situation, as far as I've seen, and like I said, I'm still kind of digging into the lore, but this right here is as close as Phil has come to being consumed by the fire than ever. And so with that being said, it's going to be something people are going to want to talk about. On a legal planes or in a legal situation where Phil, Mr. I'm a businessman, Mr. I know what the fuck I'm doing because I went to business school and I have a degree, or I went to school and I have a business degree and so on and so forth, and I know how to do everything, and these streamers out here and these big YouTubers don't know shit, and they better be careful because if not, they're going to fuck over their taxes and they're going to be in some real trouble. He literally did fuck over his federal, he fucked over his state and business occupation tax, he's putting his condos going into foreclosure, and he filed for bankruptcy. Under those pretenses, it's not too far off the mark that's going to garner a lot of attention. And then with Phil's lackluster understanding of the law, especially when it came to copyright law and everything about his restreaming and all that nonsense and that he'd been propagating for all those years, when someone like Nick Rekieta comes into play and calls that shit out and says, no, he's wrong and here's why he's wrong, it's going to garner a lot of attention. But Nick never said, to my understanding at least, that Phil was fucked. That he was proper fucked. And yet again, no one can be mad at anybody if they thought that. If I came out and told you that I was in the same type of situation that Phil was, you guys would be like, yo, damn, GTG, you're screwed. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. They're going to come for the suits. They're going to come for the ties. You know what I'm saying? Milf and Cookies is going to leave. It's a done data. You know what I'm saying? You might as well go ahead and sign all the rights over to GTG Networking Productions, the Asian GTG, and everybody else, because you're going to lose out. So to anybody else, that would be that's the end of the game. That's checkmate. That's checkmate. So, and there's nobody at fault for thinking that. There's nobody at fault for coming out and saying, hey, I think Phil's fucked. I can't, and none of us should really, hold that against anybody. Going off what we knew, right? No one should be put down in any way, shape, or form for that. Because guess what? None of us can see the future. You can only work off the information that's in front of you. And if this dumb fuck was lucky enough to get himself out, good for him. But the game don't stop. When the next big saga comes up, those same people who are going to be like, oh, shame on you guys for saying this, will be the same ones in the front row waiting to see who's going to say what about what. So to point fingers at anybody, we have to, if you're going to point fingers at anybody, then you need to point the finger right back at yourself too. Because we're all involved in this. And like I said, we all went off what we knew, what people were doing research on. We went off what we knew. And even then, it was all an opinion. You know what I mean? No one came out and said, fact of the matter, Phil's fucked, butt fuck jail, he's taking all that shit. The booty warrior's coming for him. You know what I'm saying? The most important thing in life is water and booty. No one said that. You know what I mean? But Anyway, that's just why you paid on it. I should put that in there if I can find it.
It's like a meme now that no matter what, okay, no matter what, I'm gonna survive, right? Whatever. For me, this whole thing, I never wanted to make public. I never would have told you guys a single piece of information about it if I didn't know that there were parts of it that automatically become public. Truth of the matter is,
told you. I think I told you about. I think I mentioned that in the first part of the video that he wasn't being honest about jack shit. He didn't know that was coming out and that was going to be public until it became public. He didn't know that. He thought it was going to be one of those little things that he was going to do behind the scenes. His little dirty little secret, right? And then he can feed the pig roast cult whatever he wanted, and they would eat that shit up. And it didn't work that way. Now the pay pigs. Let's not even talk about detractors, trolls, haters, and critics. The pay pigs, if they choose to, if they are inclined, now have a chance to really look at what his situation is. Black and white. Black and white, they can actually look and see, this is the debt that he's incurred. This is who he owes it to. This is where it's from. This is the amount. And then they can make a decision. And Phil never wanted that. He never wanted it. He can shit on detractors, trolls, haters, and critics all he wants about what we know and what we're willing to look up and whatever. But the last thing that he wants is a pay pig to find out what's really going on. Someone to break the psychosis and realize, holy shit, you have been lying to us all these years. You've been lying to us about all these problems and whatnot. Or you weren't upfront with us with this. He doesn't want that because he needs them. That's going to be the Galtopian retirement fund right there. He needs those idiots to keep believing. And if he would lie about something like this on this big of a scale, what else would he lie about? And that's the thing that people, I think, were slightly overlooking. The fact that he was granted his bankruptcy is one thing. The question is now is, what are you guys going to do about all the lies he fed you over the last couple of years? How is a pay pig going to deal with that? Because that's exactly what he did. He blatantly lied to you. He treated you guys like sheeple. You guys were nothing more than pigs/lambs to the slaughter. He milked you guys for everything. That whole bullshit about chargebacks and everything is already a joke. And detractors told you that. Why the fuck do you think he wanted King Tut so bad? And then it ends up coming out in the, It ends up coming out in the mod leaks that he got King Tut's docs and was spreading that amongst other mods. Well, why would you do that if you won every chargeback that ever came your way? Why are you spreading somebody's docs around? I'm asking. That sounds like something that a vindictive person would do. That's what that sounds like. But semantics, though. Semantics. So, yet again, if he would lie to you guys about, oh, I win every single chargeback. Well, I win some chargebacks. Well, sometimes I don't file for chargebacks. Well, sometimes they vote in my favor and sometimes they vote in their favor. If he would give you that runaround, and he has, and he's been doing that since Mort, and that was 2017, why wouldn't he lie about what's going on now? Just throwing it out there, though. I'm just a brain dead detractor, though. So, make of that what you will. DSP News.
Process I've been through is something that many people go through over the years, but because I'm a public figure, people were all over it. Most people go through this and no one ever knows about it. It's something
You're a public failure.
Very private and behind the scenes, but because I'm a public figure and I have so many fucking shithead haters on the internet, they ate up every piece of information. They fabricated nonsense, alright? It's complete bullshit. Now, the one conclusionary statement I have to say, again, very general, can't give you any specifics. The one conclusionary statement I have to say about all of this is very simple. Alright? If even a single piece of the things that people have been saying about me for the past 4 months were true, this outcome would not have happened. Alright? The truth of the matter is, I knew the truth of the situation. I knew what was going on with my own personal stuff behind the scenes, and I stayed silent. I just basically said I'm not going to really talk too much about it because I'm just going to have faith that
that wasn't your decision, though. You were told that you didn't you just say that you were told not to say anything? Whatever.
The matter will come out to the right parties. The right parties being my lawyer and the parties we had to work with for this legal process, period. Those are the people that matter.
That's right. This is the United States of Phil. I am the supreme being. I make the rules, and what I say goes. This is not a place for you to stand on your soapbox and complain about censorship and freedom of speech, because the bottom line is you don't have freedom of speech. This is my land.
It didn't matter what idiots on the internet fabricated or said about me. Although admittedly, because of so much internet slander, my process was completely held up for months and months and months. Alright, directly as a result of people doing stupid shit and making stuff up about me and everything. Basically, my situation was gone over with a fine-tooth comb. To the point where I had to provide so much additional information that probably most people would never have to do.
He's talking about on the phone call when the, I think her name was Nancy. I think it was Nancy James, who was the trustee, said that normally she would ask for only 1 month, but when in his case, he wanted 6. And the reason why that was is because his filing was fishy as shit. It stunk to high heaven, and she knew something didn't seem right. And that's why she asked for the additional information. Now, why all of that essentially got dismissed either which way, I mean, it's whatever. But that's the real reason, because he was a dishonest fuck, and she was able to sniff that shit out. Then again, the person that was on the call before Phil, you know, the fact that he ain't sat there and forgot to mute himself and was like, whew, that shit was easy, you know, and then he was like, oh, the mic is still on? I mean, outside of that nonsense. So that's what the case was. But anyway, let's continue.
And had to do further disclosures and the like in order to get stuff to actually go through properly. But the truth of the matter is, everything people said about
me... We mean further disclosures. You should have disclosed everything from the rip. You needed a fresh start, right? Why would you want to hide shit? And then, like I said, when you go back and look at that, if you go on Kiwi Farms, there's still people talking about that documentation. And that shit it still stinks to high heaven. And one of the things that I'll bring up in the 341 call, because I have to re-record that, is that it's funny how he gives 6 months of income, and then there's everything else is blank, unless when he redacted it or did the revision, he ended up filling all that out. If he never did, it's funny how that money that should be on the spots for those additional 6 months that weren't filled out would kind of fall in line with WWE champions. But that's just a theory. It's not exactly a Theo theory, right? It's not exactly a Theo theory, but you know, it kind of fits in proper, a little bit, just a little bit. But like I said, we'll dive into that later.
Bullshit.
Your hiring manager did a 100-bit cheer and said, "Why would I believe you about anything when you lied about being engaged, you lied about the wedding, you lied about the cat, so how can I believe anything you say?" Then
there you go.
Don't. Who cares? And you know what? Some people actually at this point don't believe me anymore, and tons of dumb people have fucking left. Why do you think they're my detractors now? And some people actually believed me. People are just very gullible on the internet. I don't know what else to say.
I provided the factual evidence of everything that I've ever said about myself to the correct parties. When provided with that evidence, they said, okay, wow, this is the truth of the matter, makes sense. Sucks that now you have this much slander all over the internet for you or whatever. And that was that. All right. And you know, there's so many idiots who have made stuff up about me now for months and months, and their jaws have dropped. Oh my God, I can't believe this was the outcome. Well, you didn't have any facts. You literally stared at a sheet of information that was none of your business, with no context to any of that generalized information, no substantiation because you didn't have the information.
You're a liar, because it was based off of that information, and what people said about it is what caused you to go back and revise that piece of paper 2 or 3 times. The fuck are you talking about? If you were honest and upfront the first time around, why'd you change it 2 or 3 more times? Wow, you do look like a thumb. You look like a hairy thumb with a hat on. God damn, dude. Holy shit.
So you don't know any of that. I'm not required to talk about it publicly, and I'm not going to, because any information that I give you guys publicly will be spun against me in a negative way, period. Like, I know that now. That's why I've cut back so much on sharing things in my personal life with you guys. Because the parts of this that went public. This process took way too long, and it should have been done like this, and instead took forever because of the interference of a bunch of malicious individuals. So, with the information that was half information, people making all these speculation, you didn't have the full information. Of course, you couldn't actually know what was going to happen in this situation. So every single piece of content that was made in the last 4 months in regards to this was bullshit.
But isn't that why it's speculation? And no one ran around as if and said it was fact? Just saying, I'm using your own wording here, sir. Oink. Oink.
Lies and fluff. It was stuff to make people like drama and to make money for these idiots who knew they had no substantiation for anything they were saying, right? But they did it anyway to make money. And that's the truth of the matter. Anyone who put their foot in the door of my business, which was none of their fucking business, and they knew they didn't have true information, did it to make money, to be a shill, to fuck over people, at my expense, by the way, because they knew what they were doing was slanderous and defamatory towards me. They didn't care. They just decided to do it to make a buck. So, now...
Wait, so when you shitted on all those game developers and game companies and you monetized those videos and you hurt those people's reputations, allegedly, for $1, that wasn't wrong then, but it's wrong now because you're just an individual person, piece of shit, public figure who deserves to be ridiculed because you're the one who puts out all your information online for profit? I'm so confused.
Later, everyone's jaw drops and everyone's so shocked and surprised. Well, it's because you didn't have the information. You're idiots. You literally made shit up for 4 months in order to push your own toxic agendas on the internet to make money, while I, behind the scenes, was handling it incredibly professionally, wasn't exposing any information that I shouldn't that could hurt me, and I gave the correct and proper and truthful information to the parties that needed it, and now we are where we are. Okay? So, you know, I'm sorry to my fans who have to go through. I know a lot of my fans were really inundated with toxic shit over the last 4 months, and I didn't want any of you to ever become involved in that stuff, but it's kind of hard to avoid when you got idiots spamming this fucking stream every single day with it. There's a million videos about it on YouTube, these fucking money-grubbing drama hound pieces of shit who want to drag me through the mud with nonsense and incorrect speculation, not information that's factual, but bullshit speculation to make a buck, even though they don't care that it's going to hurt me behind the scenes. Fuck all of them. That's always been my philosophy, and I'm gonna keep pushing forward positively. That's all I can do. That's all I want to do. I don't want to waste time on my streams and Ask the King addressing this stupid shit, because it was none of anyone's business to begin with, but they made it their business because they wanted to make money off of me, and now they all look fucking insanely stupid, because they didn't have any information to talk about anyway. They were literally pulling shit out of their assholes constantly. Even people who claim that they're reputable were doing insults, and doing insulting thumbnails, and fucking clickbait titles, and every possible thing.
Now this is coming from the same dick sucker who during his pre-stream was playing Nick Rekieta's stream, or Nick Rekieta's video, talking about how Phil was able to outlast everybody. I guess something for Phil to jerk off to, right? He was actually listening to that. But Phil right here is mocking Nick Rekieta and saying about him being reputable and who has any integrity and all that bullshit, but yet you're sitting off on your streams jacking off to that? Wow. That's funny, because isn't this the same guy who says he doesn't watch detractor content? Or he doesn't watch content that can be negative and that, you know, that spin shit about him or so on and so forth? Yeah, so on and so forth, sorry. But yeah, he got caught doing that? Yeah, semantics, though. Semantics.
Make extra money during this time frame because they saw my personal life as a cash cow of drama for them. Fuck those negative, disgusting...
Life isn't personal if it's online, buddy.
Toxic people.
Just like your sister-in-law's nudes.
Do that. I don't make that kind of content, and I never will. I'm a positive guy. I focus on positivity. I tell you guys every day on my streams, I'm not a person who revels in hurting others to get over. I will put out positive, fun gameplay content for you guys, and I will continue to be successful that way. And if I fail, I fail, but at least at the end of the day, I can say, hey, at least I put out positive content that people appreciated, versus, oh, for 4 months, I literally talked out of my ass to make fun.
But then if they appreciated it, then why did you fail? Just throwing that out there. Just wondering. I'm just curious. You know what I mean? So you don't win the actual battle. You don't actually. You may have won a couple moral battles, but you didn't win the physical war. Is that where we're gonna go with? Okay. Well, I mean, take a win wherever you can get it, then, right, buddy?
Phil and make him look like a horrible villain, so I could make money doing it. And then after 4 months, the whole thing falls flat on its face because you were all wrong anyway, because you all made up shit, right? I am the winner. Yes. Yes! Ha ha ha!
Good shit.
In order to be a good winner, you have to know how to be a good loser.
This is gonna basically be the last time that I'm going to bring this shit up. There's absolutely no reason for me to continue to bring it up. It's over with now, and and even though I'm sure this isn't the end. These people who want to be in my life and
Yeah, I was about to say you need to catch that, because didn't you say that you're still going through the process and that's why you can't speak on it, because not everything has been cemented yet. I'm just saying. One could say this is nitpicking, but I just consider it being thorough. But whatever.
Toxic shit constantly. This is not the end for them. They're gonna still attempt to continue the harassment, to continue the information. In particular, all right, I'm gonna say one thing. There was one content creator who swears he's an expert on subjects like this, and he made videos for months about it. I watched a few of the videos, no exaggeration. At least half the time this guy spoke, he was legally wrong about what he was saying, yet he produces himself as an expert on the internet about this shit. And it's like, if the guy who's supposed to be an expert is wrong 50% of the time, can you imagine, all the other shit the other shitheads are saying that's 100% wrong, you see?
Wait, but don't you admit to saying that half the shit that you said, the majority of shit that you said in your past were blatantly wrong, and you were talking out of your ass, and you were talking from emotion, and you didn't have the full facts? But you don't want to be condemned for that, but we're going to condemn this guy here, supposedly, who was wrong 50% of the time, supposedly, and he can't be considered an expert. But yet people are supposed to take what you say into consideration, because you have people who call you out on your bullshit. Very confused. Very, 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 very confused.
I'm just not going to waste time on it anymore. These people will not let it go. They're going to continue to harp on it. They're going to continue to pull at any little string or straw left, because they realize now the drama's over. But they're still going to try it. They're still going to try it.
This is the escort saga all over again. If it wasn't for detractors, he probably would have been proper fucked in both of those situations, right? With the escort saga, with that catfishing empire, and with this right here, if he didn't make all those redactions, or revise or redactions, because of what detractors were saying, he probably would have been in a much worse situation than he was in. Yet again, I'm not saying it's a win for either party, but in actuality, he wouldn't have made it to where he is if it wasn't for detractors. Something to think about.
All right. And there's nothing I can do about it. I don't have money to sue these people for defamation, so they will continue to make these negative, toxic videos about me and things that are completely untrue for months on end, and there's nothing I can do about it, all right? They're going to say this isn't over. They're going to try to... It's over for me. I'm not talking about it ever again. Don't ask me about it on my streams. Don't, personally, understand. You're not going to get another piece of information out of me about this, because it's done with. This is the last piece of kind of public info that was kind of, I guess, disclosed or whatever over the past day. I'm done with it now. I move on positively with my life, okay? They will harp on the toxicity forever, because that's what they do. They need that toxic content to keep existing. I don't. I can just keep doing what I do every day, all right? But
your whole existence is toxic, though. The fact that you're talking about this on Ask the King, instead of avoiding it like you've been known to avoid many questions that have been asked of you, and trying to address it, proves it. You're trying to profit off negativity. You are, actually, in actuality. You are profiting off negativity. So you're no different than us then, yeah? Yet again, I haven't got my check cut yet. But you know what I'm saying? But for everybody else who, all these other detractors that are making this magical living off this shit, you're no different than they are, right? Theoretically, right? Like, that's a thing, right? Because if not, you wouldn't bring it up. But for whatever reason, you can't keep dick out your mouth, so that's why you keep bringing detractors up, right? Because we're all supposed to be dicks and assholes and pieces of shit, right? We're all liars, and we're all slanderers and this, that, and the third, and yet you bring us up every single day. And you can go ahead and hide behind the caveat that the only reason why you bring us up is because people in your fan base keep bringing them up. Well, why don't you just go ahead and ban everybody who does that? Well, if you do that, then you'll have no one else to actually watch your shitty content. And in actuality, you have nothing going on in your life, and you need to talk about us. Like, that's really what it comes down to. It's not even a symbiotic type of relationship. It's just, you need us to survive. You're shitty at games. You don't do anything. You don't go anywhere. You don't know nothing. So you have no personality. You have no depth. You have no information. You have no knowledge. So the only thing that you do know, the only thing that you do understand, the only thing that you can react to is hatred. Allegedly. Negativity is probably the better word for it. That's all you have. That's all you've been. That's all you've ever been. And like I said, if your father's pull-out game was good, or if your mother swallowed, we wouldn't have had this problem, period. But since that didn't happen, this is what we're all left with. And in actuality, if detractors left tomorrow, what is there going to be for you? You're going to go ahead and keep taking your pathetic pop shots at people like Rich and Wings because you believe they're beneath them. You're going to rail against Dr. Disrespect, Ninja, Shroud because they make all the money. You're going to sit there and shit on PewDiePie, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and everybody else because they're insanely successful, but they pander off the kids, allegedly. Nothing changes. It's going to be 2008, 2009 all over again for you. And the reality is, excuse me, if every current detractor went dark tomorrow, a whole new bunch of them would show up in a month. And the game just starts all over. Like, you're in this for the long haul, sir. This is never going to stop. And you can go ahead and keep praying to Susan at YouTube. Please, Susan, I wait for the day that you make all these people go away so I can come back to YouTube and be white hot popular again. That's never going to happen. You're done, buddy. Unless you're going to really start over. And if you're going to start over, you got to do everything right. And you got to do everything right according to today's standards. Not 2013, 2015 standards. And you're definitely too stupid to do that. So then what? So then what? The game ain't over? I'll definitely, if no one wants to say it, I'll say it. Game ain't over. So it is what it is. You're going to do stupid shit, and people will call you out on that stupid shit. And that's just how it's going to continue. One detractor leaving the game stops nothing. Nothing. And the ball keeps rolling. And if people choose to watch it, they watch it. If they don't, they don't. But it's still going to be here. So that doesn't end anything, right? Just like how you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to be intimidated or bullied from doing what you love, right, Phil? Because you love gaming, right, Phil? Even though you treat it like a job and you're just as miserable when you turn on that, when you turn on your webcam as you, well, shit, when you turn on your microphone, when the damn thing works, to when you turn it off, right, Phil? That's the reality, Phil. And there's already plenty of detractors out there who have shown that they have versatility and they have depth. More than you will ever have, to be honest. And so just by those standards, that makes them successful. What do you have to say about that? You're stuck doing the same old shit over and over and over again because you can't do nothing else. While detractors will eventually grow and move on to other things. Or just expand to other things. And do it in a way that you never could. What are you going to say about that? No. You got to have them completely gone away from you, right? We all have to go ahead and start whole new YouTube channels, right? Or we have to be deplatformed because, you know, Phil loves deplatforming people. We have to start all new YouTube channels or be deplatformed and forced to go somewhere else and start completely from scratch. And then he'll acknowledge you, for what you've done. But how would he acknowledge you if you're on a whole nother platform and you're not speaking about him? It's almost as if you're dead, and that's what he's actually going for, and that's what he's comfortable with. Huh. That's grim. That's grim. Oh well. Let's continue though.
Apologize up front. I hadn't even talked about it on Ask the King. I didn't want to, but I'm talking insane generalities, gave you no specific info whatsoever. But in a nutshell, they were completely wrong. They made shit up for 4 months. I was truthful, but I withheld the truthful information for the parties that needed it because I was afraid if I did put that information on the internet, people would just use more of it against me and spin it in a more toxic way. I was right. And now, because I handled it professionally, you know, we can move on in a very positive way, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore. All right? So, I just feel like I got to get this off my chest, and I apologize, guys, but I have to do this. Fuck you to all the shitheads out there.
All right, before you go ahead and suck your own dick, it's funny how that so-called expert who don't know jack shit about shit, who's been following you around for 4 months and made all these disparaging thumbnails and said all these nasty things about you. Let me grab my note. Let me grab my notes. It's funny how he don't know jack shit about shit, right? He's not an expert or anything, but in some broadcasts that we have coming up, ladies and gentlemen, apparently our boy Phil here, by the time you guys hear this, you guys would have already heard this if not seen it. Phil apparently had some problems on Twitter, and apparently one of those rabid dogs that Phil had over... Fuck that, I'm not going to insult myself or my morale or my shit, the people I roll with. One of those rampant pigs over there apparently went ahead and got itself out of the pig pen, going ahead and digging up all kinds of shit, had some people on Twitter taken down. Phil comes out and publicly denounces them, and then all of a sudden, this person turns against Phil. Now, it's bad enough, one could say, that it was bad enough that this guy was already taking shit down in Phil's name. But then, when Phil went ahead and denounced him, he turns against Phil. And then what makes that even more ironic, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and lean in on this one. Phil runs to that supposed expert for help. Please, Mr. Ikeda, I need you to get me out of this situation. They're coming after my Twitter, and I need it for my business. Oh, well, I don't know, Phil. I mean, you said I was just a so-called expert and everything. I don't know if you really need my help in this. You've been a public figure for quite a long time. You should be able to figure this out. Nick, I need your help. Please, Nick. I'm gonna start sending you DMs. Please help. So it's funny how the very person that you're talking shit about here, in this video right now, in this broadcast right now, Phil ain't got on his hands and knees and went ahead on his pork belly, went ahead and squirmied off to for help. You denounce this guy. You will not even denounce. You smear Nick Ikeda and says that he's not an expert and that he's wrong and he don't know jack shit about shit. But then you run to this supposed expert who don't know shit about shit for help? And what would be considered or could be considered a legal matter? Well, shit ain't adding up, ladies and gentlemen. Shit ain't adding up. But that's alright, though. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Because that's very strange. That's very peculiar. Why someone would feel the need to do that. Semantics, though. Semantics.
There who basically make a living defaming me every day with no or half information, speculation, controversial drama. Go fuck yourselves. You know, this is where it was gonna happen at the end anyway. And you made my life a living hell for 4 months, basically. And now that's all over with, and I can go back to just being myself and relaxing a bit and having fun with games and not having to worry every night about what's gonna happen in my future because shitheads are defaming me every day on the internet. I'm just done with it. Like, I'm finally get, like, a breath of relief today. And I'm like, yes, finally I can just move on positively, and that's where I am. I don't care what any of the rest of these idiots...
Bitch, okay, they call this the DSP anime slash... Well, the Dark Side Phil's anime slash manga for a reason. If nothing else, ladies and gentlemen that are listening in the audience, this is just the end of this saga. The next saga is going to start immediately afterwards. The game don't stop. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Whoever it is that's going to be making top 10 worst moments of 2020 is going to probably need a whole lot more than top 10. They're going to have good luck to them. I know it's going to be entertaining no matter who does it, but good luck to them. Because that shit's going to be rough. Rough, I tell you. The game ain't over. Like, it isn't. Like, anybody who's been watching detractor content for any amount of time, I would assume this was rather exhausting mentally for a lot of you. So if anybody steps away from this, I can understand that. But Phil, the story doesn't end. The show must go on, and it will continue to go on. The next new travesty, which I just talked about, which is the DMCA is on Twitter. That's the next saga. I'm kind of letting that out of the bag early, but it is what it is. We're about to get into it in a minute. So nothing's done. I'm sorry, fuckhead, but you haven't realized this yet? After all these years and after all this bullshit, you just think after a big arc or after a big saga it stops? It doesn't stop. Game still keeps pushing forward. This is what we call progress, Phil. It's one thing to obtain something. It's the next thing to keep it. If you're so victorious, if you were so successful, good for you, buddy. But now you're going to have to keep that. And the only way you can prove that is through longevity. And that's what this is. That's what your life's all about. You spent your early years talking shit about everybody, saying that you were better than them, defaming them, slandering them, and now it's happening to you. Oh, it's all of a sudden it's this biblical tale where you're going through all these trials from God to see if you're worthy. Apparently you're not worthy, and apparently the trials have to keep going on. It is what it is. Good for you, buddy, that you're able to pull yourself out of this, and you got a bottle of you got a 1.75 liter jug of Tanqueray waiting for you. Good for you, buddy. You're gonna need it, cause the game, the arc is about to pop up now. The next arc is about to pop up. Some people might call bank. I call game. So get ready for the next quarter.
Say, they're fucking wrong, period. I'm not 100% out of the woods. You know, my life's going to be very rough for years, where I'm going to basically have to try to build stuff back. Stuff that's been destroyed personally for me behind the scenes. I'm going to have to try to build this stuff back up. It's going to be hard. I'm behind on stuff right now. Like I told you guys, taxes. I'm behind on taxes that I need to catch up on. And it's going to be rough doing that. But I'm going to do my best to get back to a position over a course of years here, where I feel that now I'm back on stable legs. Egg Gangster Cherry says, would you have won? And then it cut off. And then Cherry says, would you have won the fight against Vasant? I don't know and I don't care. Because that's
Vasant would have beat the brakes off his ass. That's the reason, and he knew that. And that because I'll give you a quick backstory. Of that. So he challenges Viscant to a fight. A couple months later, he finds out that dude's in the gym putting in that work, and Phil realizes, oh fuck, I'm in some real trouble. So then, when this final meetup happens at this tournament, Phil behind the scenes was actually reaching out to Viscant and been like, hey man, instead of us actually fighting, because that's stupid, man. Let's not do all that. And while he's shitting his pants at his computer, let's go ahead and just give everybody DX chops and shit and tell them to fuck off and whatnot. Now that's Phil being a bitch, knowing that he's the one who started this. He's the one who asked for that fight. And if he doesn't get dude to co-sign with this shit so he can take some of the hate with Phil, Phil's gonna be looked at as a coward, and he's gonna be a laughingstock, and no one will take him seriously. And guess what? Phil was looked at as a laughingstock. Phil was looked at as a bitch. He was looked at as something not to be taken seriously. That's what happened. As it does with most of the fights that Phil was willing to go ahead. Well, most of the fights that Phil was willing to throw out at people that never manifested because he was too bitch made and came to realize that his snout wrote a check that his pig butt couldn't cash. And that's what really happened. Straight coward, straight bitch, that you're going to get online, challenge people to a fight and whatnot, find out that, hey, this dude ain't fucking around, he's really gonna work you over. And then you have to reach out to them behind the scenes like a bitch, stage it like you're gonna fight anyway, and then go ahead and say fuck off to the audience so you both can catch hate, but this way you don't catch so much. That's what kind of coward, that's what kind of fraud Dark Side Phil is. DSP, Dark Geppetto. That's what kind of fraud he is. That's what your realest guy, your realest person on YouTube was all about. That's what kind of life he was living. Straight bitch.
Thing, like in the early to mid 2000s, I would start these rivalries, and I wasn't serious about them, but I would get people so angry that they would actually want to like fight me. So like Visant was someone who I basically had this rivalry with for a long time, to the point where I was like, I'm gonna beat him up or whatever. And of course I wasn't serious or nothing, but he was like dead serious that he wanted to fight me. And then eventually we actually became way more cool. Like, at one point I stayed at his place. We went out.
Yeah, the reason why I don't know if you guys became cool, but I know he saved your ass from them West Coast boys who wanted a piece of you, that had you either scurrying off to a corner or running to a bathroom and crying. That's where he really came through to save your ass on that. Because you ain't talk shit to those West Coast players. Those West Coast players that you were shitting on your little website or whatever that you built because you thought they were all jerk-offs because they were circle jerking each other saying how great they were or whatever. And then you ain't went ahead and said the wrong shit to a couple of them dudes on SRK. And they were like, all right, then the next time you come to this tournament, be ready. You popped up, they popped up, and you turned straight bitch. And dudes had to talk on your behalf to cool that shit off. And Viscant was one of those guys to do so. Oh, well, I challenged him to a fight, or I said I was going to beat him up, but I didn't mean it or nothing. I'm sorry, who goes online and says, oh, you're about to catch these hands, and then show up to the tournament where you say they're gonna catch these hands at and not mean it? and not expect that. Sorry, Phil, you've been on the internet this long and realize bitch made shit like that don't work. You do not know who the fuck that you're talking to or who you're interacting with behind your goddamn keyboard. Just because you straight pussy doesn't mean the person that's on the other end of that isn't, or doesn't mean that they are. And if you want smoke, there's always going to be someone that's going to be able to provide that. Keep knocking on the door long enough and someone's going to answer you. And there've been a couple of people who answered you. And by the pork rinds on your goddamn back and the fucking hair that's missing off your chinny chin, you were lucky enough to walk away. When in actuality, you should have been carried away. You were very, very lucky. That's the reality. And like I said, him being cool with you was probably more out of pity than anything. Because it's amazing to have someone who would talk all that hot shit, and then you meet them in real life, and they're just straight coward. Straight weak. Got nothing to them. It only makes sense for the strong to feel bad for people like that. And that's what that was. Congratulations, Phil. You understand what charity is. Good job, buddy.
California during Evo West, and I actually stayed at this place with a bunch of other Street Fighter players. We squashed that shit years and years ago, you know? It was so stupid. It was just really dumb shit. So, that's what I mean. I was so immature when I was younger. It was really stupid. Coolito tipped me $1 asking if I sold my soul. Yes, obviously I did. Obviously, if you're an idiot and you think that all the insane slander and defamation and all the shit that people made up for 4 months about me was true, you probably think I sold my soul in order to get a positive outcome. But the truth of the matter is, all those people were wrong. Culasso Grande tipped me $10 and said, focused on my cell. Well, Culasso, first of all, I gotta figure out what Culasso means. Watch it mean like giant heaving, like dick or something. Let's find out.
Why does it matter? Like, read his fucking cheer and keep it moving. Alright, just whatever.
Huge ass.
His paranoia is just unhealthy. Just imagine that every time you get a big tip, you have to immediately run to your phone to make sure it's real. Or every time you get a cheer with a name that you don't understand or you're not familiar with, you immediately have to go ahead and look them up real quick, or you have to look the name up real fast to see what that's about. Just imagine living life like that. Imagine that. It's bad enough that he's already in a fucking hug box, which is in a glass house, but then he's a prisoner to his own persona. He's a prisoner to himself. He's a prisoner to himself. He can never escape, who he is and what's known about him. Ever. That'll never change. That'll never change. No matter what, when you look up Phil Burnell, it'll always be associated with failure. It'll always be associated with some dumb shit that he said, some racist shit he said, some fucking sexist shit he said, some just shit that he said out of his ass that just made no sense, that made him look stupid, or some type of stunt that he pulled that damn near blew up in his face. He'll never be known for anything. Nothing worthwhile. Ever. He'll always be looked at as a lol cow. Nothing more, nothing less. That is essentially his existence wrapped up. He'll never know a day of peace. All because he couldn't take into consideration that you weren't hot shit. You weren't as good as you thought you were. And anybody who has an opposing opinion of you, right, instead of you trying to get some form of an understanding of why they have this opinion of you, you call them assholes, you call them shit, pieces of shit, you banned them, and then you ridiculed them after they were banned because they couldn't say anything to you or about you. You took advantage of every person who ever stepped into your life and tried to help you in any type of way. Most detractors exist because they were people who tried to help him. So this whole detractor movement is essentially his fault. And he'll never know a moment's peace. And anybody who's ever associated with him probably won't either. This is what the reality is. And he can never escape that. Ever. But he's winning, though. He's victorious, ladies and gentlemen. Clap for him. He deserved it, right?
I guess that's not that bad. Huge ass is better than, like, giant schlong, I guess. So, Colossal Grande is the top tipper of today with a $10 tip. And he said, focused on myself. I don't know what that means, but thank you for that. We're up to 67 straight streams, hitting the vest goal. Let me get the vest, and then I got one cheer to shout out, and then we'll continue on with questions, alright? Alrighty, guys. Let's continue on, shall we? So, Snow Carl Reborn cheered again. Said, I love your work, wondering if you're concerned that defeating your trolls will have an impact on your streams or revenue. Ladies and gentlemen, alright, I'm well aware that there is a group of people, alright, who on the internet contribute to my streams because they hate me, but they want to get like a negative shout out or whatever, alright? In the scheme of the overall scheme of things, does that add up and give me a little bit of extra revenue? Yes, but I can concretely tell you guys that it is actually the long-standing fans, the people who like what I do, the people that find positivity in my content, those are the people that really have my back, alright? And some people would argue that, yes, I get new fans and new viewers from the negative videos that people make about me. I'm not going to discredit that. Every day we get people who come into the stream here, and they say, Phil, you know, the reason that I came to check you out was because people were talking shit about you, but now that I've come to check you out, I actually find that you're a really fun guy.
Dark side, Phil the lol cow.
Low cow. And I love your positivity of your streams or whatever. Alright, so that's definitely a factor. But, no, the majority of support that I get is from legit fans. It is. I'd probably say if you actually look at
Where are these supposed new people coming in and saying that I watch detractor content, now I'm watching your one stream, and I love your content, and I love you, Phil. And where are they at? And where are their big tips at? Where are their large cheers? It's funny how he keeps saying that shit, but I don't see that. And if I do, it sounds trollish. It sounds like troll bait, because more likely it is. But where are the legitimate ones at? It's really just the same old people that have been around for the long haul that are the ones that really have Phil's back. I mean, after I cut bacon off of it, is what it is. But you know what I'm saying? That's really what it is. There's who are these supposed new people? And where are they at? If they're not sock accounts for other people.
the ratio, I'd probably say at least an 80-20 split, if not 85-15, you know. Yes, there's a chunk there that is people who don't like me and they want to get a rise out of me or whatever, but in general, any of these contributions...
Don't like you? I thought you said at first they hated you. Now they don't like you? You gotta pick one, man. There's a difference between the two.
And, you know, that are bigger contributions, and people who are coming back and contributing over time are long-standing viewers and fans who like my stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, AMAC860914 just tipped me $130.
Spend all your money on me. You give me more money. Cool, you give me more money.
Alright, if that's what you guys want. People are screaming for the Gunner glasses. It's a little awkward to be wearing these when I'm not doing gameplay. You know, they're supposed to be, you know, taking out blue light from your screen or whatever, but I seem to get more positivity and more support today than ever before. So obviously I'm doing something right, okay? But if it would mean completely changing who I am to be a portrayed character, to have to look like a cartoon character screaming at the top of my voice constantly...
What the fuck do you think you look like right now, dude? Or through your Halloween celebrations and shit when you dress up as absolute fucking clown world. What do you think that shit is? You can't say that you're above any other content creator who dresses up or plays a part, right? Or takes on a persona, you know what I'm saying? To be entertaining on their streams. You're no different than any of them. You're just lazy. Extremely lazy. You're no different. You're just, if those people are whores, then so are you. And you have your whore outfit just like allegedly they do. If you guys told Phil this in 2017, because I have to kind of stay within my particular timeline, I guess. If you told him in late 2017 that, hey, Phil, people are going to give you $200 and you're going to throw on a fucking sweaty ass vest and some fucking gunner glasses that have been in your closet since, I don't know, whenever and whatnot, or the cowboy hat, I should say, before the glasses, that's what you're going to do, and that's how you're going to make money on your streams, he'd have laughed at you, called you a fucking moron, and then banned you. And now look at him. Straight up clown. Straight the fuck up clown. Literally became what he hated the most. He accused and hated other content creators for doing this, saying that they were fake and you should be more careful on who you give your money to because they're not legitimate. They don't really care about you. They're not about their best interest. They're all about making a buck. Look at what he's doing. Under the principle and pretenses of making a buck. You're only going to get this vest if you pay me $100. You're only going to get this hat if I put on $100 or it's Axe the Pig. Or you're only going to get these gunner glasses and whatnot that are the generation ones, so they definitely don't mean shit if I put these glasses on. Or sorry, you're only going to watch me put these glasses on if you give me $100. He's even worse than they are. Because you do have to directly give him the money for him to put the whore outfit on. If those other people are whores, they come on stream every day like that. Something to think about.
For acting and or trying to act like something I'm not in order to basically be a Muppet or a cartoon character to entertain people on a stream. I don't want to do that. I want to be myself. And if it means that I have sacrificed...
I mean, who gives a fuck about what you want? Look at what you wanted did for you. Ran up a bunch of credit card debt, bunch of business loans for a fucking YouTube channel, which is absolute fucking phenomenal, especially looking at his level of quality. I'm astounded that a bank gave that to him. I understand why they did, but I'm astounded that they did it. Like you've said what you wanted, you did what you wanted, and what did it end up? Let's reword that. You did and said exactly what you wanted to do. You basically walked to the beat of your own drum, and it was failure. That's why you had to file for bankruptcy. That's why the condo in Connecticut's in foreclosure. You've done all Phil does, and all Phil ever tells us is, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do things my own way. And look at where it got him. And yet, he still hasn't learned. Which goes back to what I told you with this whole bankruptcy shit. He didn't learn a goddamn thing about this, or from this. And he will fuck up the moment he is able to get credit cards or loans. Because he didn't learn a goddamn thing. He looks at this as nothing more than, as I said earlier, a sinkhole in the road. And once it gets patched up, he's going to go right back to what he does. This is the second time he was in debt and in some ways was able to pull himself out. And you guys really don't think there's not going to be a third time?
Tons of popularity and success over the years because I wanted to be myself. I guess so be it. But I'm not going to change everything I am just to make a few extra bucks. I'm sorry. I'm not, you know? So that's that.
Nope, that's my lie. Got him. Ha ha ha. Got him.
Lie there, you liar, you.
I'm good at lying. Like no lie, to this day, sometimes I have nightmares about being in school still. It was not a good time.
Whoa. Hold up, Billy Badass. I thought in high school you were the shit. And you had your little trench coat And you had your little mafia, or you had your little group of misfits that, you know what I'm saying, they used to run around with. And I thought you had no problems. And I thought when dude tried to bully you in the classrooms, you were throwing them into walls, or you were throwing them into into groups of chairs and shit. Knocking over random chicks by collateral damage. But you're having nightmares about high school? Oh, you're catching that locker treatment. That's what that was. That's what that was. That sounds like a whole lot of shit talking on Phil's part, and then someone ain't pulled his card. That's what that sounds like. Well, let's go ahead and continue.
I didn't like it. And I'm not kidding. Like, to this day, I still wake up, to this day, having nightmares about still being in university. Oh my God, this shocks me.
I don't need to play Final Fantasy VII Remake and fantasize about one of the girls as the waifu of the group, because I have something way better than that in real life that thought doesn't even literally pop into my
That's kind of funny. A human thumb giving the thumb. That's pretty hilarious.
mind.
I haven't had sex in ages. That guy needs to be kicked in the freaking balls. He's an asshole.
Don't come to my stream and cheer to try to derail who's your waifu. Alright, fuck you. You know, it's not me. That's not my attitude. That's not how I approach it. And by doing that, all you're doing is basically trying to derail the stream and be a jerk. So don't do it.
You're being a jerk by asking him who his favorite waifu is? If it was a dude, would you have felt more comfortable with it? I mean, if that's the case, that's cool. That's what you're into. But like, who gets offended? Who gets offended over a digital chick? Like, I don't understand this. Like, do any of them remind you of Leanna? Is that what that is? Are you still burnt by that shit? Wow. Okay. Well, it is what it is.
Okay, and that's my honest answer about the situation. I am heterosexual. I will always be heterosexual. It's just...
Keep telling yourself that, Phil. Keep dreaming for it, Phil. Maybe one day it'll come true. As if you're not oozing over every time you see John on stream. So it must be hard to lose a true love, Phil. It must be hard.
I am. That doesn't mean I disapprove of homosexuality. At all. I approve of it. People can be... I'm fine with that. Let the people be happy with how, however they're wired. Please, by all means, be happy.
Why are you talking so quiet, by the way? Is Kat home? Does she not want to hear that? I don't know. I'm just saying his tone is real low. Real low. I mean, it is what it is, Phil. I mean, hey, Phil, you've thrown $40,000 on sweaty men. Digital sweaty men. On WWE champions. Allegedly. But, it is what it is, man. It's 2020. Live your best life, buddy.
Oh, yes.
どうですかこれが壁なんですこの状態で耳元に何かを囁いたり
Oh, yes.
Yes, they said that you're a gay boy. That we're gonna make love to each other tonight.
It's people's fantasies coming out.
That's right. It's their gay fantasies.
wanted to see happen.
That's right. Like they always wanted to see
Oh my god.
Jacob and Edward make out. Well, they want to see.
It's us now.
It's us. We're the next gay
People
fantasy
are home and they
couple.
want hey, these things happen.
My god.
Phil has indoctrinated children who send him money, blatantly milking for money. It's a money pit. It's gone.
Oh, it most certainly is. This was fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, give me a few minutes to, not even a few minutes, give me a couple seconds to kind of work all this together and whatnot. And we'll reconvene for final thoughts. Because why would we? We'll see you guys in just a second.
Just gone like that. In an instant. Fucking gone. I just care about money. I just can't help it. By eBay. Contributions are mandatory. But I need your help. I am appealing directly to you.
Oh boy. Oh, that was fun. That was most certainly fun. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, let's see here. Can't talk about Chapter 7. Still moving parts going on behind the scenes. He's not out the woods yet. All the fun. So that's a thing. All the fundraisers that fundraisers that he's ever had and whatnot, he was honest and truthful with. Sure, whatever. I think I've already beaten that into the dirt, but it is what it is. Proclaiming himself victorious by getting Chapter 7, and everyone else lied and he told the truth, even though he admitted that he was only truthful to the people who were directly involved with the legal proceedings, but he wasn't necessarily truthful with the people that he had to interact with each and every day to get the money so he could have the legal procedures. Semantics stuff. Semantics. His situation about fights back in the day and how he's trying to shrug that shit off like it wasn't that big deal. Boy, oh boy, he used to talk that hot shit back in the day. You can see it on the forums and shit. I mean, granted, it was straight. It was uninspiring and certainly not intimidating in any type of way, shape, or form. But it was the FGC, dude. That was that type of environment where if you said you were going to do something, it was expected for you to do it. And Phil knew that. Phil knew that, and I don't know why he thought people weren't going to pull his card. It's the reality. That's what it was about. You know what I'm saying? It was very gritty. It was very upfront. You know what I mean? Like, people who talk a whole lot of shit and can't back it up in the game or can't back it up in IRL, you're gonna be shunned. You're not gonna be taken very seriously. So it is what it is. And that he picked fights, and you kind of see that a little bit in his history. He picks fights with people that he thinks he can beat, or he thinks he can intimidate, or he thinks he can convince to back down. He does that now in his own fan base, and it almost never works. And just because he's a coward doesn't mean other people are. What are you gonna do? And as for whether he won or not, who cares? But like I said, you guys, like I said, come up to your own opinions on it. It is what it is. It's my understanding that a lot of people feel burnt out, and so on and so forth. Yet again, this is supposed to be entertainment. This is supposed to be for the funnies. If you gotta step away from it, step away from it. You know what I mean? Step away from it. The internet has a lot of lolcows. There's a lot of funny lolcows who do a lot of abysmal shit, do a lot of hilarious shit. You know what I mean? Indulge yourself. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. This shit's always gonna be here. Phil is the eternal failure. He's never gonna get better. He's never gonna triumph in any way, shape, or form that is significant and whatnot. He is what he is. What he was in 2000. Shit, where am I at on the other channel? I think I'm running around. I think I'm somewhere between 2014 and 2015. The failure that he's displaying there is what he's displaying right now. Not much has changed in 4 or 5 years. So I don't expect too much to change in another 5 years or so. But that's semantics, right? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it, and I'll see you guys for the next broadcast, whenever that may be. Hopefully sooner than later. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG Network and Productions. For the Snort Report, as well as SnortBucks Coffee, I've been your host, /anchor, GTG, and I'm signing off. Take care of yourselves, guys. End the broadcast.